Bonjour, track and field fans, and welcome to Torch Talk. I know what you're thinking. Wow, this looks like 2/3 of the morning show. It's not the morning show, unfortunately. However, Chris Chavez not here with us currently because he's running a marathon. Yes, guys, running a marathon. I believe you'll be able to track somewhere online if you want to go to his story, find his bib number. He should be finishing up, I think, maybe in the next 20, 30 minutes. So we're cheering him on. He's here in spirit. But I do think I was just most dressed for the part. I think I just looked official with the polo, and I willed my way into this spot. But I'm Karen Leswitz, host of the Getting Chicked podcast. With me here today, we've got Aisha Protlier, 5-time Jamaican record holder, here with us. Caitlin Hutchinson, she is a Kentucky Wildcat, a Forbes contributor, host of Out of the Blocks. Follow her on Instagram. She doesn't get a lot of those Instagram followers. She's more of a Twitter girl, so follow her. Give her a shout.
Hit 13K today.
13K today. Woo!
That's good numbers.
Amazing.
I'm coming for your followers, Chris.
She's coming for you. And also here with me, needs no introduction, Eric Jenkins, 2-time NCAA champion, 7-year pro, my co-host on the morning show. Number one in our hearts, number one in our emails. That's Eric.
Nice.
Yes, for sure.
And that's for sure. So Aisha, obviously this is not your first Olympic experience. This has been some of ours. Let's walk through, what it's been like. Been at the track. We had an electric night. It was, I don't think that word can be used enough by me, but it's just most fitting. What was your experience in the stands?
Hold on, guys. We're all holding glasses of champagne. Okay, let's get a good cheers in.
Let's get a good cheers in.
Me and my girls.
Cheers. Just us gals.
Just us gals. Absolute pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, and we're sipping.
Well, yeah. That is refreshing.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's really
Good. Who brought
After
this?
a long
did.
day of just nonstop talking,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is my first time.
good to wet the whistle a bit.
Yeah.
First time in city, so I'm just currying favors of just bringing bottles of champagne. I didn't dress for the job I wanted like Karen did today with the polo, but
They tried to usher her right down to the track when she walked into the stadium.
yeah, ma'am.
They're like, you have a javelin to officiate.
Yeah. And then I got down there and they immediately were like, get out here.
She's like, yeah, it looks pretty far.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
Go get your medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're loving it here. Eric, we were going to you before we have already gotten sidetracked. What are you thinking about these Paris Olympics?
Oh, I mean, well, today, amazing day, really fun. It is more like when every every competition is just finals. It seemed like a much shorter day at the track today. Really compressed and so exciting. Huge day once again for U.S.A. So and ending on those 4x4s unbelievable. Can't ask for a much better day than today.
Oh, yeah. And we've seen all different, I think, parts of the stadium, just even with seating. It's kind of been fun. We were right on the rail this time, right at the ledge on that second balcony. And it was fun. I kind of felt like we had a front row seat. Where were you sitting?
I'm more of a stander. Mm-hmm. I keep getting really nervous for all these races. So I've been standing on the balcony right before the 100-meter start, and I'm loving it. I'm watching the screens. It gives me plenty of room for dance moves. They've been blasting the same about 15 songs over and over the last 10 days, and I'm still feeling it. Every single song is great. But, yeah, great seats.
Yeah. Caitlin?
Listen, y'all know my thoughts. I'm not going to talk about some fans that I don't know, but I would say that this is the first day where I felt like having energy was not illegal in the stadium. Little do y'all know, some lady tried to cuss me out yesterday or 2 days ago because I was screaming at an Olympic final. Don't know what her deal was, but anyway,
right.
This is the first time I was actually able to let loose. I mean, the Olympics are over now, so they can't arrest me. I definitely went down into a section I was not allowed to be in. Mm-hmm. I was sitting with Real Talk with T, and we were making up raps about Sydney when she was running. I was singing. You want to hear some?
Can you drop some bars?
Hey, USA, You know what I'm saying? Like, we was having a blast, bro. And this time when I was screaming, the people wasn't looking at me like I was crazy. They was like, yeah. So I feel like this is the first time that the stadium vibes weren't weird.
Yeah.
Don't mean to crap on the Paris Olympics, but like, I don't know, something about the vibes in there were like quite strange, but I feel like to bring it up into this moment and to see everybody really cheering, really bringing it home, acting like we're not at a golf tournament, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. No, I was right next to you. And let me tell you, you made the vibes immaculate. I felt excited because you were getting so excited, right? I kind of feel like I absorbed the energy of it. And we owe you an apology, Caitlin, because
Karen just started screaming just as loud as Caitlin.
I matched it. You got to match the energy, but yeah, you did. It's been a little, and we talked about this earlier on, I think, a Good Morning Show, but you don't realize that, a USA, athlete winning, which has happened quite a lot, isn't always like well received by your neighbors, and so you're getting excited, and I think you're used to the main character syndrome.
And it don't even be the U.S. Like I'm friends with everybody. Devin Charlton, babe, she from the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be fair, she did go to like all of college in America, but still, I'm like, babe, she from the Bahamas. I'm cheering for everybody.
Yeah.
This lady turned around, she look at me, she like.
Yeah, she gave you the stank eye, for sure.
She's speaking French or something. I'm like, babe, I don't speak French. So if you're going to cuss me out, you got to do it in English. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm sorry, Bookie. Like, okay. Then I turn my head. Her daughter come looking at me. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because I'm already hot.
Yeah.
Y'all already know. It's somebody talking mess about me on social media right now. But I'm not going to say no names because whenever I unblock you, it's up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the lady turned around. She look at her daughter looking at me. She like, no, I don't think she has an issue with the fact that you hear. Okay, because I did hear her head on accident, but it was like a really light.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Light tap. It was like
It was
when
just
you
a quick bop.
Okay. No, because listen, Mac knows them seats is little as hell. So like
Very
when you
small.
get up, like you're gonna be touching somebody.
You will accidentally hit a child.
I didn't hit a child.
Oh, no, look, I'm not putting words on. That's what you said.
No.
You said that. You were like, I smacked a child in the face. I heard
It
it.
felt so good.
Right, and then you didn't she laugh? I thought she laughed.
We all want to. Oh,
Right.
God.
Oh, no.
I tapped the lady on her head by accident, so I thought that's why she was mad.
I was like, Caitlin, how'd that feel? Just tell me.
I'm like, my bad that I hit you in the head. Like, my bad, shorty.
Yeah.
Her daughter is like, no, that's not why she's talking to you. She's talking to you because you screaming. And I'm like, girl, we at the Olympics. She's like, all of us are excited to be at the Olympics, but you're going to blow out my little sister's eardrums. So I look to the left of her, and here's this, like, 12-year-old girl tapping away on her phone, looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, if y'all listen, it's not my fault that your ears are sensitive. It's not that I don't care about that little 12-year-old girl, baby. I hope that
you get hit too.
No. It's not that I don't care, but it's like, babe, you came to an Olympic championship and you expected somebody not to scream. Are you nuts?
You're about to get smacked up.
I feel like you were not.
He's trying to make me crazy.
Yeah, you were not in the right section because every time I've been sitting down, it has been a party. Like people are.
The section that I ran to and I started, hey. Oh, listen, babe, they was having a blast with me. Me and T, and then T talking about something. I had a couple drinks. I said, I'm completely sober. I said, if anybody sees these videos, they're going to be like, Caitlin's drunk. Babe, I act like this on a regular.
Well, I just want to commend, when that happened, when the whole altercation happened, Eric and I, we really stood up. We really defended you. We really got on our soapbox.
They actually pushed the lady down the stairs after it happened.
No,
how many times are we going to get hit out of you guys? Jesus Christ.
No, we owe Caitlin an apology because I want to be honest here. You know how you're like, when my friend gets, rattled, I'm going to, and like accosted, I'm going to stand up for them. I'm going to come to their defense. Not a peep out of us. I think I backed up a little bit. I got scared, and we owe you an apology. We didn't stand up.
I did, and I mean, like, I didn't really stand up for myself either, only because, like, I have a smart mouth. Y'all don't know that about me, okay?
Ooh.
I have a very smart mouth.
I can believe it.
Don't know that about you.
You guys don't know that,
You don't say.
I really want to go. Do you know how many times I want to cuss people out on Twitter and I can't because I just imagine Chris being like, don't respond to the haters, Caitlin. Don't give them energy. Be the bigger person.
I like that Chris impression.
I'm like, Christopher Chavez, let me tell you something. When you've got somebody disrespecting the living crap out of you for too long,
That was scary.
Yeah.
That was scary.
That's what you're saying to Chris. You're doing that whole thing. And he's like, oh my God.
It's just
like,
not
"Get some
a
rest."
fun experience. But, I have yet to fully show my true colors. And I will try to keep the truth as long as humanly possible.
Yeah,
But good day at the track.
Great day at the track, Caitlin.
Got cursed out by me.
With with Chris Chavez not being here, our Lord and Savior here, he's out there, he's grinding, he's doing his thing. You held yourself together, Caitlin. I think he'd be proud. I also think he'd be proud of how you're about to break down this women's 4x4. Holy cow, it was the last event that we witnessed on the track. It went crazy. Shamir out in a 49.48. We won, spoiler alert, if you didn't see it. Break it down for me. We even had a little bit of drama with Kendall Ellis. I'm just peppering in that for flavor.
Dang, don't be doing my girl like that.
Dang, you're about to get bopped.
Dang, come on now. Say something.
Yeah. Easy, Caitlin. She's got a smart mouth.
Oh my God. All right. So first of all, I had made a tweet earlier this week and I was like, how fast or like how far away, how big does the gap have to be between you and Femke for Femke not to catch you? And I think today we have learned what the answer to that question is, because baby, once Alexis Holmes got that baton, there was nothing that Femke could do. And this is not a diss on Femke. I think that this is actually speaking to a testament of like how absolutely insane that she is, okay? But when you decide that you want to put Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni at second leg, I think that's the cheat code. Because everybody's used to seeing Sid at fourth leg. We're like, Sydney McLaughlin, she's the face. She is the face. Put her at the fourth leg. She's going to bring it home. Why would you put anybody else? And I think the relay coaches were like, let's think tactically. We know that Femke Bol could probably run a 43-second split. If you really push that girl to run 43 seconds, Femke Bol could put a 43-second split on that track. So they're like, how do we make sure Femke Bol doesn't Femke Bol today? And they were like, you know what? We're not going to put her with her biggest rival of all time. We're going to put Sydney McLaughlin on second leg, and that'll really screw Femke up. So I think that is what really put the nail in the coffin. That race was honestly done by the first leg. If you pull up the splits, I don't know if Mac has them up right now, but Shamir Little ran a second to 2 seconds faster than everybody else in that field off of first leg. The only other person that has ran that fast out of the blocks on a relay has been Cyan Riches-Ross and another lady. I don't remember who the other lady is. Please don't be mad at me.
But Soviet woman, so yeah, that's fitting. We don't need to.
We don't know who that lady is. But regardless, we've only had one person do it, and she was an American. She was a Jamaican. She said she didn't want to. She did the opposite of what you did. Okay, but Cyan Riches-Ross absolutely dominated whenever she did that, and Shamir Little was like, yeah, I can't make this team for the 4 hurdles, but I'm going to show y'all while I'm here to get the job done. Shamir has been running 49 low every single race that she has been on this week. This might have been her first Olympics without her baby event, but regardless, she has showed that she is going to be locked in history forever, because, sometimes God just opened doors for you whenever, you think you're supposed to be doing something and it doesn't happen. So I'm proud of her. And like I said, putting Sydney at second leg to run a 47.7 was an absolute cheat code. Gabby Thomas is going away with 3 gold medals. The one person who wasn't talking about getting 3 gold medals is going home with 3 gold medals. And Alexis Holmes has absolutely dominated. And I'm so glad that they put her on that relay, because she ran 49 twice this year. She absolutely fought for that 6th place spot, and there's absolutely no reason why she shouldn't have been on that final leg. So I'm proud of all these ladies.
Right. We had clean handoffs. Like you said with Sydney, she really took it out. I think we were counting in the stands. It was like 2.5 seconds that she put on just in her solid leg. Aisha, from standing and dancing where you were at, walk me through your experience.
What is really crazy is looking at the result of this race. You're looking at an area record for the USA, national record for the Netherlands, national record for GB,
1, 2, 3.
national record for Ireland, national record for France, season's best, like down the rest of the sheet. It was such a fast race. And what I think is really interesting is Team USA's strategy to put Sydney on. I mean, everybody just assumes we're going to see Sydney anchor. And I think that really threw a lot of people for a loop. It was really tough to see Jamaica drop the baton because Stacey Ann Williams really got out and looked so good in her first leg. And with Jamaica having been in it, would it have even been faster if everybody's pushing and leveling up? But this race, top to bottom, was sensational. I think you can see photos of Sydney's leg where the aerial shot where you can't see anybody else in the photo.
Sydney was going stupid.
So Sydney on second leg, that was so that they would have a big gap and not let Femke be as close, close.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like, this is where it gets weird when I like really think about it, because it's like, the thing is that regardless if Sydney was on fourth leg, I don't think Femke would have caught Sydney. But like, the reason why you put Sydney on second leg is because when it's time for Alexis to race against Sydney, you want to make sure that it's not a same situation where it's Alexis and Femke coming to the line. Not that Alexis isn't going to be able to get the job done, but I think they want to avoid what was happening last year, where it was like Alexis really had to make a comeback to get Femke, and then it also just fortunately worked in Alexis's favor that Femke ended up falling, which really sucks for Femke because we know that really sucks for her. But they were just like, we want to make sure that this is not a battle that comes down to the line. We're going to come out the gates hot, and if y'all want to come fight us, y'all better be ready to step.
Better be ready to step. We also had a little bit of drama. I want to go back to the Kendall Ellis drama that we saw here on Twitter. She did unfortunately find out, I think we said 4 minutes before call time, that she was no longer on the relay. Who took her place? We don't know. Still a little bit of a mystery. I mean, we talked about the call room, Eric, right? Like, and how tense that is. Walk me through some of those emotions of what you think she's feeling in that way. I mean, she kind of laid it out for us on Twitter. Not great, but to make that decision so close, what do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know necessarily like all the details that went into that, and I'm assuming there's got to be a lot of reasons why she was be pulled off. I would imagine, I would hope, because to be pulled off that close, you've gone the whole day, you've warmed up, you've done everything, you're preparing to run a 4x4 in the Olympic Stadium, and if it really, like 4 minutes, that's crazy. I mean, you're spiked up, ready to go. It's unbelievably tough for her. I just don't know all the details because it's tough to imagine. I don't really, since I've never done a 4x4. I've done one. Have you done a few in high school, right? But right. But it's just tough because when I would assume that there would be some knowledge. Like, wouldn't they be warming up together with the athletes? Yes, of course.
There's not just 4 athletes warming up. There's 5 athletes warming up. So you're probably looking around and wondering, who here among us will not be stepping on the track?
Is that always the case?
But I don't think that's not the issue with like what Kendall was talking about. I think what's important to understand is like what her actual message is, because there's a lot of people on Twitter like trying to attack her because they're like, but look at what happened.
Yeah.
You should have never been on the relay in the first place. But that's not what she's saying. That's not where she's coming from. She's coming from annoyance on how the decision was made, and the communication that came behind it.
Which is totally understandable.
When it comes down to a team situation, I'm sure that any 5 of those ladies would have been like, if you think somebody else is better than me right now in this moment, that it's better to get this gold medal, let's do it. I don't have a problem. But what is a problem is if I'm going through 95% of my day, I'm thinking, boom, it's time for me to race. You haven't told me anything different. And then the way that it was handled in terms of removing me and putting someone else, like, that is what she's getting at. And I think that people just kind of need to understand, like, just look at it from an open lens. Like, don't look at it from like, but they did this, so like you shouldn't have been on it. It's like, think about the communication issues that happen, and to kind of like further that on in terms of the relays. I mean, like, even Carl Lewis was saying like the relay system is just like completely out of control. Like, he's been going off on Twitter about it for like the past 24 to 48 hours. And so I think like her criticism of, you know, what could have happened behind closed doors, what the communication could have been, like what her particular experience was, I think should be looked at from a critical lens and be like, okay, let me not look at this as Kendall Ellis being bitter. Let me look at this as like, what the hell is going on with like the USATF relay coaches?
Oh, of course. I agree with you 100%. I don't look at it as Kendall, like that's being bitter. Someone really dropped the ball in communication. And on this level with these athletes, like being robbed of a moment where you're about to potentially get a gold medal at the Olympics, like that shouldn't ever be handled in the way it did. If it really was like, okay, 4 minutes before, hey, you're not doing this. We're subbing you out. Someone dropped the ball on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if Carl Lewis will go on Twitter and cuss somebody out about that one too. But yeah, I really do feel for Kendall, because also at the end of the day, like she's the U.S. champ. I mean, unfortunately, like she did not run as fast as the ladies on this relay, like during her Olympic experience, and that is like super unfortunate. So honestly, like I think looking at the numbers and like she understands, like she's been on major relay stages, so like she understands like what goes on behind closed doors. So I don't think that she has an issue with being told that she is or isn't going to run.
Right.
Because
just a timing issue.
I think it's just a timing issue, in that like unfortunately there were, you know, 4 other ladies that did present that they were fitter enough, and like I think if you pulled up this time in the future and be like, hey Kendall, like the USA relay team is going to run 3:15, but
very close to the world record.
You might not be the one that's on it. Are you okay with that? I feel like she would be like, that's fine. And also, my personal opinion, I would have probably put her on the prelims so that way she did have an experience to be able to share this gold medal moment with them. But that's
a good idea.
A whole different conversation.
Highlight of something new at this Olympics that I think is really cool. Every athlete that contributed to the relay now stands on the podium. It used to be just your 4 people that ran on the final, won the medal. They're the only ones there, but that's not the whole story. It's how did they get there, who contributed, and seeing everybody on the podium. That's really special.
So special. And, you know, especially for, you know, Kendall Ellis, like Eric said, we don't have all the details. So it's very easy to pin, you know, Kendall against the whole relay team. And, you know, she's, you know, out there, you know, with her picket fence, like trying to, you know, protest something. But that's not the case. We don't have all the details. We don't know anything more. But the silver lining, maybe even the gold lining, is that Kendall still gets a gold medal. And that's incredible. She gets to stand on the podium.
I don't think so.
She didn't do the
she wasn't in the prelims.
Oh, well,
that's the
I hope she's not watching.
That's the
I am
other
so sorry,
part
Kendall.
of this that makes this like really unfortunate for her, because regardless, I understand. I mean, I'm not the relay coach, so whatever opinion I say doesn't matter. But this was kind of a similar situation that we had with indoors this year, where we did not put the USA champion Brian Faust on our 4x4 at indoors, and people were very pissed about it. And honestly, like I said, if you as a relay coach do not feel that Kendall was the right fit for the final, okay, that's fine. Definitely communicate that. But I do think that the USA champion definitely needs to be in the mix somewhere, especially with Kendall too. Like she has like the relay experience on the Olympic and world stage level. So it's not like, okay, Kendall won USA's and she has like no relay experience. Like the girl has got medals from mixed and regular 4x4 relays on the Olympic and on the world stage. And so that's why I'm like a little bit confused as to why they didn't use her. But like you said, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what the relay coaches were thinking. But like, if it was me, if I was the one in the position, if I had the job, even if I did not put Kendall on that final, she for sure, as the U.S. champion, as somebody with experience, would have been on that prelim round.
Amazing. Well, Caitlin Hutchinson from Out of the Blocks. Let's get you on that committee board to start making some decisions.
Do not put me as the relay coach.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Someone that also handled pressure pretty well, you know, a little different than the women's 4x4. We saw the men's 4x4. Similar where, you know, we saw them in the lead. We saw a little bit more of a story, I think, happen, and it came down to the wire there. We had Chris Bailey, Vernon Norwood, Bryce Deadman, Rye Benjamin, Anchor Leg, took it home for the victory. Incredible race. You were going off in the stands. I was so excited to be right next to you cheering on. Give me some thoughts.
Oh, let me tell you something. First of all, this is all the Chris Bailey haters, because I be seeing y'all tweets and y'all be making me mad. Don't be talking about my friend. Chris Bailey knows how to run a 4x4. So for all of y'all, Chris Bailey would have messed it up, and don't put him as anchor because he messed it up at NCAA. Leave Chris Bailey alone, because you know what Chris Bailey got that you don't got, an Olympic gold medal. So shut your mouth. Anyways, let's continue to move forward. So watching Chris Bailey was so awesome because the sunglasses. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this every single time. Do not ever race somebody with sunglasses on. They're dangerous. Okay? People with sunglasses are dangerous people. All right? Especially when it's nighttime and there's no sun. Chris Bailey, why were you wearing sunglasses and there's no sun outside? You're absolutely insane, and that's why I knew you were going to get the job done. Then look, we're watching our second leg, Vernon Norwood, our 47-year-old man doing an absolute job.
Don't do him like that.
Listen, I love him. He's almost 50, and he's doing such a great job just absolutely running 43s around this track like the old man he is. I love Uncle Vernon. You could never make me hate him. But look, to run, listen, the reason why I'm proud of Vernon is because that man been trying to run 43 seconds open his whole life. It ain't happened yet. It's gonna come because he ran 44.0 or 44.1 about a month ago. So you know it's coming. Vernon gonna get there. But for him to absolutely shatter 43 twice this week, oh, y'all can't touch Uncle Vern, okay? Because he got the job done. When he realized that Quincy wasn't able to kind of like get the job done for his first leg, he's like, it's okay, little son. I got you, little cousin. I'm going to do this for you. Went 43.6, 43.5. Boom, went 43 again. Didn't even need to go 43, but he went 43. And then look, we got Bryce Deadman doing Bryce Deadman things. That man is an Olympic gold medalist multiple times, so I wasn't even worried about him. And then we handed off to Rai Benjamin to earn his second gold medal of the Olympic Championships. But the thing is, like,
Sure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So look, I just love the fact that USA versus Botswana was one of the most exciting races of this meet, because I love it when a 4x4 is USA all day. But baby, when somebody got enough balls to put some pressures on us,
Yeah.
oh, you got all my respect.
That anchor leg, Rye, like there's no like coming down the last stretch, Tobogo on you, 100 to go. It was so intense. There's like, that's what's so amazing about the 4x4. Like it's so much more hype than a lot of the events. And it's such a crazy feeling to like be getting the stick in first, anchor leg with it's not like you got a huge lead, right? It wasn't like the women's race. It was close, and you've got an athlete like Tobogo that you know is chasing you down, and you can feel him right on you. This was like in a day filled with amazing races. I felt like the men's 4x4 was probably like the best race.
Yeah, I mean, I was next to you and Caitlin, and you said, I thought that was one of the highlights of the races that you saw today. Aisha over there, how about you? What were you thinking?
It was, yeah, I mean, the last leg, I really thought I was watching Letsile almost pass multiple times. And it's so hard. I think about it like from a middle distance perspective of like, it's so hard to kick from the front. And to see Rai handle so much pressure, this is just like putting the cherry on top of a great games for him, where you really saw him rise to a leadership position on Team USA. We've been talking about Captain America, and Rai showed his stripes for sure in this race. And it was incredible. The stadium was also going nuts. Like Caitlin said, the energy today was, I think everybody was just like letting out the last of their steam, realizing that today is the last day of track. And it was awesome. I loved watching it.
Man, last day of track, you're gonna make me cry.
Well, that's why I brought champagne.
Oh, and it's the champagne also too working.
Yeah.
I get emotional. Oh, anyway. Should we all go around and say what we love about each other?
Oh my God. Yes, girls, let's do it.
And well, wrapping it up with the sprints here. Caitlin, you're giving me the pause.
Yeah, we're not done.
There is one
Come
thing.
on, girl.
Say it.
Most important
Meter.
thing
Say it.
that
Hurdles.
No.
Oh.
There's
But
one,
you're right with that. We
there
still have
is
110
one
hurdles.
very important thing that we have not mentioned. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
16-year-old Quincy Wilson is an Olympic gold medalist.
Oh my gosh, baby.
Another round of champagne. Come on.
Right.
Sam?
Little baby.
There is nothing else to say. I don't care.
Oh.
First of all, if you tearing apart a 16-year-old on the internet, babe, you need to do some soul searching because what
Yeah.
you're not going to do is bully. And what you're not going to do is get on me for defending him because y'all like, no, first of all, you're not going to sit here and bully a 16-year-old kid on the internet. Like you're actually insane. Like you're legitimately insane. Okay. Like that's what we're not going to do. That boy did everything that he could. He might've ran 47. Cool. But there are still a billion 16-year-olds that can't run 47 seconds. So I am
He
so proud
doesn't.
of.
Yeah, he doesn't even have his driver's license.
He don't have his driver's license. He don't know how to cook. You know, he
Did he say that?
Yes.
Okay.
He said it
I
at
was
New
like,
Balance. He was
this
like,
is some
I don't know how to cook.
accusation.
He was like, I don't know how to cook.
He doesn't
But
know how to
no.
turn the stove on. He can't cook.
But it's
Barely
like
open the fridge.
he's 16 years old, and you're in a stadium full of 80,000 people, and there is just so many emotions and things going on. And like, regardless of him not being able to show up as his absolute best self, I don't care what anybody says, but he put his best foot forward. And that's why I appreciate Vernon, Bryce, and Chris, and the rest of them really standing up for Quincy. Like when I had said no Quincy Wilson slander would be tolerated, Chris Bailey was one of the ones to retweet my tweet because it was like, what y'all not gonna do is make fun of my teammate, especially with how young and how impressionable he is. The last thing that you want is for him to go on the internet and see that people have an issue with him. Like that is insane. Like if you are fixing your mouth to talk about a 16-year-old child, please get it together, because if you think he should have ran faster, get your ass out there and make an Olympic team and run first leg and see how you do. And if you run better than him, then I'll shut my mouth. But until that happens, keep it quiet. You know what I'm saying? And so for him to be out here with, as he said at New Balance Nationals, like, these are his brothers. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you know, when I was going through the rounds and stuff, like I was really trying to make sure I was talking to Quincy Hall. I was trying to make sure I was talking to Vernon and Bryce and Chris and the rest of them, because like these are my brothers. Like if I get the opportunity to run this relay with them, I want them to understand that like I'm gonna do everything I can. And he did everything he could. Like unfortunately, it wasn't a 43, it wasn't a 44, it wasn't what everybody expected out of him, but he did the best that he could, and that's all that matters. So Quincy Wilson, hats off to you. You're 16 years old. I think you're the youngest person since like 19 something. I don't know. What's on the city is something somewhere, but you are the youngest to ever do it. You should be very proud of yourself. Shout out to Coach Lee. I see you soon, sir, and everybody else for coaching Quincy to greatness. And then also shout out Bullets for being up at 5:05 a.m. 2 days ago to watch Quincy Wilson run and become an Olympic gold medalist.
Wow.
That's it.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Deal with
period.
that.
I'm nervous. You were swinging those arms. I got nervous.
Because why are you
Might
bullying
get
a
bopped.
kid? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like, why are you
Because
bullying a
they're
child?
sad. They're sad.
It's one thing to
people.
bully Eric. Like, Eric grown, you can bully Eric. You
Yeah.
can't bully Quincy. He's 16.
Fuck.
Like,
Yeah.
he just turned 16.
Look,
like,
it makes sense to bully Eric.
yes.
We've been saying
No,
that.
it feels good. It feels right.
Right.
It's not okay.
So
making
if you want
sense.
to bully Quincy Wilson, turn
Bully
your Eric. Bully Eric, please.
Yeah.
Come at him.
Fuck.
Please. You doing okay?
My DMs are just flooded.
Yeah.
They're like you ran 47. You suck.
Yeah. You're getting Quincy
You-
age.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they
Eric
just-
would be
yeah.
so stoked to run 47.
I'm
so-
Right.
PR.
He'll get you. But women's 100, I think we're safe to move on. That was a great, I think, appreciate you ending on that note. We've got a lot
Yeah.
of people in the DMs, a lot of people typing away. But yeah, let's remember he's a child, right? I think that's very fair.
That is literally a kid.
right. Right,
He
and
ain't
it's
no-
a little creepy. I think we need to start calling more people creepy, if I'm being honest.
Okay,
We don't
yeah.
use that word enough.
If you talking crap about Quincy Wilson online, you're a creep.
Yeah.
Like you're a
Creepy.
weirdo.
You're a little weird.
You're a
Creepy.
weirdo. Like you're strange.
Yeah.
You're very strange.
Yeah. What wasn't strange was the women's 100-meter hurdles. We had USA take the gold once again. So exciting. We're sweeping up. Go USA. Walk me through some of the highlights for you.
I know I talk too much. I'm so sorry. Max told me I gotta
No.
bounce around, but like, first of all, what camera I need to look at? What camera? This one? This one? Go. This one? Go Cats! Big Blue Nation. If you ain't go to Kentucky, you ain't go nowhere, baby. 2 Wildcats on the podium. Jasmine Camacho Quinn won last time. Masai Russell run this time. If you not a part of the Kentucky Wildcats, you ain't a part of nothing, baby. That's it. That's all. No, I'm for real. I got some real stuff to say. Listen, I joined the Kentucky Wildcats 2 years ago.
Oh, you're a Kentucky fan.
You couldn't tell?
No, I wasn't. I was like, man, where does this girl go to school?
I joined the Kentucky Wildcats 2 years ago as a member of the track and field team. And one thing that I would always notice about Masai is that girl is a hard worker. I know you can say that about a lot of people, but there is the same type of dog that y'all saw in Quincy Hall is the same type of dog that I see in Masai Russell. And she's a very strong-minded athlete. You know, as many times as she goes through things that don't necessarily work out her way. I mean, like, this was her rookie year, you know? And there was a lot of things that happened, like, at different points in her season that didn't necessarily go as planned, where I'm sure that she was probably like, what am I doing? Yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's like, she even made a TikTok video about, like, how hard it was being a professional athlete. And even like with her, as somebody who is an NCAA champion, as somebody who is, you know, has an NCAA record, and like, you know, you didn't get your contract like as soon as you graduated. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that kind of went behind like how the season went for her. And so to kind of see her just like build through it all, it's just absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, I see her and lift 3 days a week. That girl be moving. Shout out to Steven Strobis, okay? He coached the world record holder and an Olympic champion all in 1 year. Hats off to you, sir. If y'all want to go get trained by Steven Strobis. I know that was a plug, but like that, I love him for real because he really put his all and his effort into coaching Masai and Devin Charlton. But to kind of get back on the track with Masai, like I said, she is a hard worker. She is somebody who is so mentally strong through like every trials and tribulations that she has faced through in this year. And even though she might be a rookie, she ain't putting up rookie numbers. First of all, you go out to the U.S. championships. No. Let's start back in indoor. First of all, you make the world indoor team. You end up making the finals. Cool. Didn't get a medal, but you know you did a great job, right? Then outdoor season isn't going as great as you hope, but like it's not terrible. It's just like you know that you need to be better in order to get to where you want to be, which is being an Olympian. You get to the U.S. trials. Not only did you win, but you ran the 4th fastest time in history. And you broke, was it Dawn Harper Nelson? Mm-hmm. Was it her? It was Gail Deaver's record. It was Gail Deaver's record. Because I wrote about it. I think it was Gail. It was somebody's record. That's all I know.
It was.
It was that she broke somebody's 24.
We need Chris.
Plug the Forbes article. Plug it.
Chris is dead on the side of the road in Paris.
She broke. I'm pretty sure it was Gail, but she broke a 24-year-old. I could really be saying all the wrong numbers right now, but she broke a record that was standing for a pretty long time at the U.S.A. trials, and she won, which is insane. And then I'm sure that she's probably prayed and like really harped on like, I could be an Olympic champion. And one thing about Coach Green, he can predict the future because he predicted Devin Charlton breaking the world record the week before she did it. So there's that. So I'm sure that Coach Green was probably like, you can win. You or Devin can win. You guys can do this. I'm sure that she's manifested that. And so for you to come out here and actually do it on your rookie year, baby, Kentucky has hurdled you. And then shout out Devin Charlton as well because Devin, although she did not make the podium, she ended up placing 6th, which unfortunately like really hurts for her because she usually sits at 4th place, has yet to kind of get a major medal at an outdoor world championship or Olympic championship. But she is the world record holder in the 60-meter hurdles. And Devin and Masai have been training for 6+ years now. So it was only a matter of time before Masai just truly blossomed into like what we're all seeing right now. And then shout out to Cyrena. because babe, the French people was going hard for you.
Yeah.
The French people was going stupid. How did you feel when the French people saw her on the track?
Yeah. Oh, it was like I could feel goosebumps on the back of my neck. This was the first French medal that we saw.
Was it?
Yes.
We got a couple fourth and fifth places, but we didn't see a medal yet.
This stadium, like, again, we were talking about these moments, the Parisian push and how loud it's getting for the French athletes. Like, I can't remember a time where stadiums felt like this since back to, like, London 2012 with Mo Farah.
Yeah.
It was that loud. It just, like, the ground was shaking. They've had so many fourth and fifth places, so many athletes in finals, but for them to get their medal, it was wild in there. It was awesome.
So wild. I mean, even just, I almost was ready for another light show. Like, I thought something crazy was going to happen.
Fireworks, something. Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. Like, Masai Russell really I don't even have words to describe it. Like, I'm probably literally going to see her in Lyft, like, next week, and I'm just going to be like, you, holy fuck. Like, you really did that. Like, you really pulled it together. But then, huge shout out to Jasmine Camacho Quinn, man, because she was trying hard to defend her Olympic title, and she won in Tokyo 2021, and she was by far the favorite at the Tokyo Olympics. I mean, it was at the point to where Jasmine was doing so well that, like, they thought she was going to be the one to break the world record first before Toby ended up doing it a year later. So it was really amazing to see Jasmine come out here and do her thing. And I feel like she's been a silent killer, like, all season. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about Devin, hinting at maybe wanting like a U.S.A. sweep, and like a lot of other characters, obviously like Toby, Danielle, that didn't make it into the finals, but people were literally thinking about them. But I didn't hear like a lot of noise behind Jasmine, not because she wasn't doing well, but it was just like people weren't really talking about her. But she had been like so consistent over the weeks, running 12.5, running 12.4, getting down to 12.3, and it was like nobody was really giving it like you could come back out here and like win your title again. And unfortunately she didn't, but that doesn't matter. You have an Olympic bronze medals. You medaled 2 Olympic games in a row, and I think that's just something that should be absolutely celebrated. She is also a Kentucky Wildcat, so I'm extremely biased, but to run 12.36, to show up at the right time and to get this done, hats off to her.
Hats off. Literally. Let's
Hats
do it.
off.
Yeah.
Caitlin Hutchinson, everybody. Here is our sprint analysis and Kentucky Wildcat. Incredible.
Go Cats!
Woo!
Woo!
What,
Big Blue Nation.
what is this?
This is K. This is K. Because
No,
I'm not
this
gonna,
is K.
No,
that's-
look at
it's
it.
an
I'm
actual
looking at
K.
it on a thing. That's a K.
Yeah, I see it.
I'm not seeing
Oh,
it.
I see it.
I'm not seeing
I'm
it.
not gonna change my fingers because.
I see
If
it.
you know, you know. And if
Okay.
I move my fingers the wrong way, I'm gonna be throwing up things that's gonna get me.
All right,
in trouble.
yeah, we gotta
So,
get it out.
you know,
Get it out.
You know, we're good. We're good. No, I'm joking.
Amazing.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
I
This has
appreciate
been-
it.
I don't know if this is our last Torch Talk. I imagine Torch Talk. I imagine we're gonna be doing something tomorrow night. Can we let the people know, Mac? What do we think? Are we gonna be doing another one? Will Caitlin be seen again? TBD. We're keeping you guessing. Thank you so much for coming on, Caitlin.
Good night, everybody.
Amazing job. Amazing job. Well, we are waiting for our other comrade here, Mitch Dyer, who is
Where the
still.
hell is that guy?
Where is Mitch?
He is in the thick of it. He's in the weeds.
Yeah, he's
Tough
probably
day.
like, I don't know.
No,
he's
said-
probably
he
streaking.
He said he was going to be here at a
yeah,
certain time.
he's probably just so hyped right now that he's like, he's streaking the track.
Come on down, though. Cozy up, Aisha. We
we
want
go.
you to get in the mix here because this next event barely needs an introduction. In fact, when we were talking about it, we kept calling it Grant's 5K.
Let's do the 8. Let's do the 8.
Yeah. Let's do
We
the
want to
eight.
go in order. Oh,
Well, I just think I'm like let's
Mitch.
do like cover the
Okay.
8 and give Mitch some
Give
time
Mitch.
to
Give Mitch some time to
try
breathe.
and get back.
Okay, and he's down to the wire. He said he was leaving. Who knows with his train dilemmas here. How quick he's going to get here. Let's hope it's soon. We have the men's 800-meter final. It was so incredible. Spoiler alert, we had American Bryce Hoppel make his Olympic debut was Tokyo 2020, but he finished 5th And so this was kind of his redemption round here, coming in from an indoor world championship title. He got 4th, but silver lining, American record. It was incredible. So fun to see. I mean, we thought he had it for a little bit. You just never know, but running 141.67. Still, I think a win in his book. He was smiling afterwards. We got a great shot of him. Aisha, talk me through.
So I heard his training partner saying earlier this week that everybody's ready for Bryce to run 141. Bryce is going to run 141. And we're talking about times, and I don't think that we can stress enough like how fast 141 is. Like we're seeing this happen a lot this year, but the last few years in the 800 just like weren't that shiny. Like people were not running that fast. If you were breaking 145, like you were considered pretty good. And now all of a sudden this year we're seeing 142s, 143s, and now 141, 141, 141. And who knew that it was going to take 141 low to medal?
They're knocking on the door of the world record.
They
like
really
that,
are.
That will, and that's a world record that, like, for years, ever since it was set by Rudisha in the London final 2012.
Yeah.
That was like the record, right? It was just an unbelievable, like, untouchable record. They're running 141 low. You're gonna who knows when, but at some point that's going down soon. Mitch is here. He's trying to settle in with a full
pizza. You eat a piece
pizza.
of pizza.
He took a full. No, that's for you.
How the
Buddy.
hell? Can I just say, how the hell did he snag a full pizza?
Yeah, there's no rules. It's the last day. It's kind of lawless in here.
I love the balls on this guy. He's awesome. That's why he's the best.
He's the best, and we can't wait for his analysis. But to your point, Eric, if you look, on the U.S.A. site, they have bios for, every single athlete out here. And I think at least anyone that had 141, if you look in their bio, all these guys had goal is to break world record or get gold. I mean, we had people out here for blood. And, to your point, I think, we saw that, right?
Well, it was a surprising race in that everybody on paper was like, this is Sajadi's race to lose. Like, he hasn't lost all year. He's been setting the pace. He's the guy who he's winning, and so everyone's like, he's the one with the target on his back, right? And to see him come up short, finish third, and he was not a factor in that. He finished third, right? He was on the podium, but he was not the Sajadi that we've seen all year, and he was not anywhere close to winning that race. Amazing job, Marco Arop.
He didn't run with his normal tactics this race.
Amazing.
You see him go to the front, make it hard, make it fast, but he ran with a completely new tactic today. Marco ran with a new tactic today, comes up for silver, and looked incredible. I mean, this was a really exciting race because it did not go how we expected, and that's why they run the race. I mean, we all sat around here last night at 2 a.m. saying, there's no way Sajadi loses this race, and he did. Well,
it is so cool that it shows that, like, how smart of an athlete Marco is, in that he's like, okay, look, the 800 has stepped up this year. My tactics of just running from the front aren't going to work this time. I'm going to switch it up. I'm not going to put myself out there to be shot down and to be hawked down by guys like Wignoni, who ended up winning, and guys like Tual and Sajadi, the big kickers, and the 141 guys. So it is so cool to see Marco switch tactics and for it to pay off. And he was so close to getting that gold. Amazing for Wignoni to be able to hang on like he did. The 800 is like the last 800. The last 100 of an 800 is one of those races where people always talk. It's like the worst event, right? That and like the 400. It's the most painful. You're not close. You come into like a distance race, right? And you want to feel good so you can close the last 100 and kick. And with an 800, often it's just you need to be the one who's holding on and not dying.
Yeah, dying the least.
Dying the least,
yeah,
right? Which is I hate that feeling more than anything.
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant. And so Wignoni is coming off the turn in front in that stadium to be able to hold on the way he did, and he can feel A-Rop coming right on his back. Like, he's right next to him. I thought he was going to get him, right? He looked like he had him.
Yeah.
To be able to hold him off, it was a fantastic race. I thought Tual would have been more of a factor. I think maybe the moment kind of got the best of him. That stadium, I think, was when they were announcing him, like we talked about it with the athlete in the 110 hurdles, but like, man, they were going ballistic. And I think, and he pushed really hard from the first lap, right? I don't know when he started really fading. I think it was probably around 600. But he just faded really hard. And I think this was, he did not get the Parisian push out there today.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But Bryce Hoppel, like, what could he do?
Well, what can
There's
he do?
nothing else you can do.
I've said this
Fantastic
on
race.
every show. If you are running a personal best, American record, how can you be upset? Of course, everybody wants to be on the podium. Absolutely. And can Bryce be on the podium? Yes, he can. World indoor champion. We know he has the capability. But that's a fast record. And this was a very close race. I mean, the margin between Wanyoni and A-Rop it was 141.19 to 141.20.
Wow.
Wild. For
cow.
third, it was 141.50. And Bryce comes in at 141.67. I mean, it's so close. And he called his shot. I can run 141, and he does it. I think he has a lot to be proud of. The 800 has not been this good and this deep in a really long time. And it's exciting to be hitting your stride at a time when the event is also taking off. So Bryce has a lot to be proud of.
So much to be proud of. He's young, and yeah, like you said, we've seen him come off the high of an indoor season. He was smiling after the race. I think that says a lot about him. He got that American record. Mitch, you were there. I want to welcome you also to Torch Talk here.
Yeah.
You had a journey to get here.
Great to be here. Sorry I'm late. Apparently an issue. Didn't finish the pizza, so you'll all be happy to know there'll be plenty left over.
There better be.
There's heaps over there. I think
We'll see.
I think it's nearly a pizza each job.
Oh, I like those numbers.
I thought you would.
I love that kind
We
of job.
bulked up for the last night.
Pizza
we really
each
wanna
job.
send-
I thought you would be pretty happy with that. Great race. Stiff to run 141 and miss a medal. I know
Yeah.
you just touched on that, but yeah, I mean, Bryce, I don't know. It's really hard. Like, it's bittersweet because you can try and tell someone, like, you've got so much to be proud of, and then they're like, yeah, I do,
Yeah.
but like,
I wanted to be on the
I wanted a
podium.
medal.
Yeah.
And so I've found that in the mix on at least where you're like, you've got so much to be proud of. It's like, yeah, I would have liked more, but yeah, to break the American record by half a second, he's gone from strength to strength. Like, Cordy shot 143, then down to 141. A long-standing American record at that. So he'll, like, that picture says 1,000 words, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the desperation of hoping that
So
you're there.
close.
But, he'll probably be another story of, like, an American middle distance success where they have to, get their teeth kicked in for a little bit and then they come out on top and, make these major medals.
Look at a guy like Grant Fisher, right? Like, he's been short before in really hard races against really good competition, and it just comes back better from that. This is just like, I think, a tough race for Hoppel in that he's a strength runner, right? And he's not the guy that's going to be pushing it from the front, and he runs really well, just even pace. Like, he just doesn't have necessarily he's not thought of as having like the wheels of a Sajadi or like a Wanyoni. But like a guy like A-Rop, like he could model a lot of his racing and be like, okay, like that's my strategy. That's how I do it. In so many races, like, you run this race 100 times, Hoppel gets a medal a lot of times. Like, there would be so many times where these guys just fade off of that. Like 141.6 gets I'm thinking back to 29. Like, he broke Donovan Brazier's American record, right? And when Donovan set that record in Doha in 2019, he blew the field apart, right?
Right.
And such an easy win, absolutely dominated it, and Bryce just ran faster than that. So you run this race in the simulator a lot. because his tactics are so sound consistently, right? This isn't just a one-off race where it's like, wow, hopefully he can repeat that. It's like, yeah, this is a guy that's going to repeat that. He's just so sound tactically. I think if he stays the course, right, and he stays healthy, he's a guy that will end up on the podium at some point.
I agree, and he's obviously changed his coaching up the last year. Like, he's in this new environment now. Sorry, that was Hobbs that went to them, but he's just got so much upside. Like, he was still the world indoor champ this year too. Like, it's not as though he has some form of major event demons. Like, he's first, he's fourth, he's young. He'll be fine. The more he races these guys as well, and the more because obviously he didn't run Diamond Leagues. He wasn't in
He'll figure
a
him
lot
out.
of these big races where these guys ran 141 previously. You could see what Sajati does, could see what Tual does, all that stuff. So he'll be fine moving forward, but he'll take a little bit to get the sting out of fourth, and then appreciate the fact that he's an American record holder. I would think.
Absolutely. And you liken him, to someone like Grant Fisher with that strength, someone who we saw in the 5K tonight pull out the most strength that I think, we've seen him. He was just talk about tactically sound. He moved from 7th position to 3rd in the final 300 meters to claim bronze, his second bronze of the Olympic Games here. I mean, that was one of the highlights, I think, of, just me being even at the stadium to see that in, real life there. Walk me through Aisha. You're watching that as, what are you thinking?
Yeah, not much happened for the first 2 miles of this race. It was just kind of, what we keep seeing. Some Ethiopians go to the front. There are some lead changes. We're just all waiting for this to really wind up. So I start to watch Grant. He's in the pocket with 2 to go. He's sitting exactly where he needs to be. He's kind of, he's riding the rail. He's drifting out when he needs to be. He's gonna be in a good place. Jakob is way back. Like, he's just sitting much further back than Grant, just kind of chilling. I kind of forgot he was there. And then with 600 to go, all 3 of the Ethiopians just line up, and Gebrewet goes crazy.
Yeah.
He just shoots out, gaps the field by 5+ meters, and Jakob hesitates, follows. He gets into second. We're at the bell. Again, I'm watching Grant. 300 to go. He looks dead. Like, he is so far out of it. Like, the change of pace was so fast that it looks like he just physically can't go with it. But then we realized that everybody that had made this explosive move, they kind of start coming back. And it's in that moment where you start looking at Jakob, you start looking at Grant, you start looking at the rest of the field, and you can realize that things are going to change and they're gonna come back. And all of a sudden we look up, 200 to go. Here comes Jakob, just absolutely storming to the front, looking so smooth. I mean, he is just the perfect 5K runner.
Yeah.
He really is. And he looks so smooth and so strong kicking in the 5K versus kicking in the 1500. I mean, he's putting these guys away. I stopped looking at Jakob because he's clearly winning. And I look up, and again, Grant's not in medal position with 100 meters to go. He's still working his way through the field, but everybody is just starting to die a death. And it gets crazy, and Grant ends up bronze on the podium. The race was electric. We keep saying that the stadium is electric.
Electrocute me because
yeah, we have
Dang.
been electrocuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really incredible.
Yeah.
I thought that was possibly like the worst move Gebrewet could have made.
Yeah.
And that, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna outrun. You're not outrunning Jakob with 500 meters to go in a slow tactical 5,000 meters, right? But you definitely, he is a guy besides Jakob has the best kick in the field, right? You've seen him close violently time and time again.
Oh, that's a good word.
So it's like
Yeah.
Gebrewet, by doing that, you immediately know Jakob's going to win, right? I mean, you know it when it's slow anyway. Like, Jakob's just kicking the 5K. The way he moves through gears is effortless, and he's just on a different level than the guys out there today, and he proved it. But the way that Gebrewet moved, it was just perfect for Jakob. It's like, okay, nice. I can stretch the legs a bit. I'll move. Like he covered it within the first 75 meters, right? And then everyone else is forced to try and replicate that. And that's where, because Grant isn't a guy that does have the Geberuet kick, right? He's a guy that can close strong, but it's not instant changing gears. It's more of like over time, he's just going to get there. And that was exactly the case today, right? 300 meters, he is not looking like he's in medal contention. And then with 100 meters to go, I go, he's definitely going to get it. He has gaining so much momentum, right? He's like a freight train that takes a little bit of time to get up to full speed. And then once he's there, you can't stop him. The way that he was looking with 200 to go, I'm like, I think he's going to get him. Grant he's now one of the guys to beat. Right?
Is he on your Rushmore now?
Actually, that was one we were talking about. Rush.
Wow.
Fuck. Yeah.
Great memory.
Yeah.
He's on there.
Sure. Because also, I'm going to put him on there because I think he's just got so much running left in his future, right?
Yeah.
He is, we talked about how, like, Grant is a guy in a event that is hard to be tactically sound every single time. Grant is that guy. He's always in a right place. He doesn't have days where he's really off. So proud, like he's to see the Americans now, like he is consistently getting medals. Or I mean, he's got medals in the last two events, but he's consistently up there, and he is just gonna he's. The other American distance athletes are going to be better because of him, and you're going to see other athletes getting on the podium because of Grant, and that they're racing him all the time, and that they're forced to step up their game because of him. But this was a race where it's like, Jakob's not losing this race. I can't. I mean, I'm like, who came in second?
Kwemoi.
Oh. Absolutely. I mean, this is like we never talked about Kwemoi. Like,
didn't.
he was not on our race radar,
first Olympic
which is
medal.
shocking.
Yeah.
Because he is incredibly
I
talented.
love that photo.
That's a great shot.
Aww. Yeah.
The boys,
It's the lads.
Just the
couple
boys.
of boys.
Yeah.
Some medals.
big win for Kenya.
Lads on
Or,
tour.
Yeah.
Kenya needed that medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Kwemoi is a guy who's run incredibly fast. He's run really fast in the 15, I believe, right? Like I don't know if he's won like the Bowerman Mile, but I bet he's come close. If he hasn't,
he's a 3:28.81 PB in the 1500, 7:28 in the 3K.
Yeah.
so
Aisha
it's
throws.
it's
over
very
here.
cool to see him him get the silver. But
Yeah.
fantastic race, so exciting. Like when you've got an American like sprinting for a medal and it's close like that.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed fireworks.
Well, especially, in a distance race like this, so Grant, Jakob, two people we've seen on the track before, different events in the mix zone there, Mitch. I don't know if you got a chance to talk with either of them or speak. I mean, did they have some, just demeanors? I mean, it's all over for them, right? So they've capped off all their chances. How are they feeling?
They get rushed through pretty quickly on the last night because they have to get to medals. So usually you get the day and then it's like they'll come back. But I didn't get to talk to Jakob. He was like, so Jakob will tend to do Norwegian media first and they'll get lots. Like he will be there for ages because he loves talking to his fellow countrymen. Not that he doesn't love talking to the English reporters, but you don't tend to get as much from him because he's obviously done this huge lot of Norwegian reporting. So he talked for ages, couldn't tell you a word of what he said. I don't
You
know.
don't speak Norwegian?
No, which is a real shame. I mean, that's
And they
something.
played his song
definitely
when he
Duolingo,
won.
Oh my
which
God!
Is sick.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you're not,
That's
if you're
awesome.
not in the know, a couple weeks before the games, the Ingebrigtsen boys drop a track. With
Straight
it's
gaff.
not just the track; it's also the accompanying music video, and it is so sick.
Him and his brothers.
It's like kind of a bop. I'm not gonna lie; like I'm into it. And
Oh, it's a track for sure.
yeah, like who else in the world is winning an Olympic gold medal? Takes their victory lap to their own damn song.
Yeah.
Like it was so sick.
It was pretty party. It is a tune, and like the music video has all the great sporting moments of Norway, and it gets you like Get you pretty fucking amped up. I'm not gonna lie. You're
Right.
like, damn,
And they're
dude,
like
should I
serving
run for
different
a whole
looks with like
Norway?
their sweaters, so like
Yeah.
Norwegian sweaters in
Yeah.
a field. It just like it evokes a
He
lot
was
of
swagged
emotion.
up for sure.
Do we think they had it queued up for like the 1500 too? And
Oh,
they didn't
yeah.
get to
Definitely.
play it?
100%.
Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been waiting.
No.
Well, I mean, it's like an
Oh.
Olympic.
Sure.
It's like an Olympic anthem, right?
Yeah.
Like they're talking about all like the Norwegian.
It'll get played every
athletes.
4 years. that
So it's
song,
like they made it. I mean, they obviously it was professionally done. They dropped it right before the
Yeah.
Olympics, where Jakob's like a heavy favorite
Might have
in
been
all the
pointed.
events.
Yeah.
So it's like, they had that baby queued up.
Yeah.
I wonder if he could pick like which part they played.
Surely the start where he actually like kicks into the rapping like that. I mean, that's the
Well, I
best
don't know,
part.
and I think we were getting torn apart in the comments section because they're like, "You guys don't understand like the lyrics." It's like, yeah,
But why
obviously.
No
would we
clue.
understand?
Most
Like,
people
Yeah,
in that
no
city
clue.
don't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, unless you're
I
Norwegian,
can
I,
still
don't know how you
sing
can
it.
understand
Right,
that.
but Taya's just pointing,
can
it's
you?
a bop.
Yeah.
You can't.
No,
Come
no,
on,
no.
Eric, come on.
Eric, you
sing
said you
it
can
for
sing it.
us. You said you could.
Karen, I'm gonna bop you.
Oh no. Jeez, I thought Caitlin was gone and I was safe.
Well, you thought I didn't have a smart mouth? You thought the smart mouth was gone? No.
Oh my god, it is a bop though, right?
It is a bop. It is a bop.
Yes.
But back to the 5K.
Oh,
yeah.
back to it.
Yeah.
I love championship racing. Here's why. Hego Skubberwet has run 12:36, and the man is not on the podium. Like, he is head and shoulders faster than everyone else in this field. And I love seeing tactics play out. I love seeing everyone have their moment where they're shining for different reasons. And we talked about this with Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Like, with the 1500, he's going home devastated, but here he is winning Olympic gold over a 12:36 guy. I mean, this guy's probably going to go run the world record later this summer. He's a second off of it.
Yeah.
And it is just incredible to behold other people's strengths coming to the limelight at the Olympic Games. This race was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just purely bona fide that he's a 5K guy. Like, to look that good over the final, 400 meters, like probably more specifically 200, and win by nearly a second. He wasn't leading. Like, to pick up a second in the last 200 meters is pretty crazy. So, yeah, it's exciting. Like, I always find it championship racing interesting if you're a guy who's an underdog and like you're not tipped to do much, but yet you play this psychological game of like, I'm not going to go out there and give everything because they're just going to chase me down. But equally, if I sit in this pack, I'm probably not. I always find that interesting. Like, how do you assert yourself into a race at all to do something crazy? Because more often than not, the guys that are ranked in the top 5, that's where the gold medal's coming from. Like, it's going to be nearly impossible to go get it from out. Obviously, Jakob wasn't ranked because he'd only run one. But it's exciting. I enjoyed that, far more than I enjoyed the heats. I liked that it was not super quick, obviously, but kind of strung out a little bit more. There was some chopping at the back. Like, Stewie was at the front for a sec. George Mills made his way to the front for a little bit. So, yeah, there was some different tactics involved. But, I mean, Jakob is a bona fide 5K guy.
And it's tough to say that about a 326 guy.
I know,
right?
but
Right.
like,
The way he
his
just
potential
looks
over this
and-
5K is crazy.
and like just dismantles everybody in the 5K. It is one of those things where like he's so talented at this distance. He'd be probably equally as talented in the 10K.
Yeah.
But the guy just likes the 15, wants to do it.
Yeah.
And hit the splits were like
He's back end
he-
splits.
his back end splits, like the last 8
Yeah.
was insane. And it makes you think like he should have done that in the 15.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's incredibly, it's so fast.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, everyone's like, Jakob's kick is not that, is just not that strong. And it's like, no, his kick is strong.
great.
He just doesn't use it that much. He just would rather try and run the wheels off the other guys. But yeah, fast, just another really good race. It's funny how Jakob's just like, look, yeah, obviously I'm really good at the 5K, but
I like
it's a
the 15.
stupid
Yeah.
event, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that 15.
It's like there's no
Yeah.
glory in an Olympic gold 5K.
I mean, you have a point, Eric. You really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Well, and he's the returning Olympic champion, right? I mean, I think 2-time, Olympic champion in the 5K. That's an incredible feat to have.
Well, he won the. He
or-
didn't. He won the. He did. He's an Olympic gold medalist in the
excuse
15.
me, in the 15.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Two-time
Yeah,
Olympic
gold
champion.
medalist
now,
Not
yeah.
twice in the 5K, but to have two to your name. I mean, seriously, like 2020 Tokyo, I know it was 2021. He's 23. He was 20, possibly 19, but 20 at best there. That's an incredible, I think, accolade to have 2 gold medals at 23. Talking about the emotional component and maturity you need to have to get fourth, a brutal fourth, all eyes on you in the 15. Come back in the 5K to be able to dominate like this and stay composed. What I saw out there was a composed Jakob. Even on the starting line when they were doing the camera intros, he was confident, he was secure, he was ready to go, not rattled. Did you see him ring that bell? That was triumph. It was, I saw the 1,500 meter 4th place finish in that bell.
Yeah, I think that he really got humbled. I think in that 15, and that's not a negative thing. Like his post was beautiful, where he's like, "Hats off!" Like it wasn't me. It wasn't my day, and I don't think people expected that from him.
No, we never see that.
No, I think everyone expected him to be like, "I'll be back." Like the race didn't go my way. Like remember last year at Worlds, he said he was sick, and people like he can't make excuse. Like there was none of that this time around. And so, from what strikes me about him is that he's a student of the sport. Like he would have gone away and lamented that for a long time. Reviewed it, watched it. His brothers are they're so close. They're so hands-on. Henrik and Philip have great international careers in their own right. So the three of those heads together would have just been like, all right, look, put that aside, get through the heats. There was no celebrating. There was no revving up the crowd. There was no pointing around. There was no nothing until he had that medal in his hand because it was the first time he'd gone without one. And like you probably take a lot from that and be like, all right, I can't do any of that bravado shit now. Like I need to get this medal. He just about pulled the rope off that bell. Like
Yeah, there was a lot there.
He ripped the hell out of it.
Yeah.
He was like pumping to the crowd. These championships will be the making of the future of his career now because it's like I know what it's like to lose. And I know what my competition is like now. Like I can't just keep thinking I'm the best because on paper, I might be one of the best, but now I need to figure out these alternative ways to improve across the 15 if he's going to live in the limelight of the 15. But I mean, I would love to see him get to a Diamond League and rip a 5K and just see how fast he can go because he made that look so easy. He made it look like he was racing shit kickers out there. Like he just dusted him.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely looked relaxed. So happy to see that from him. Moving it on to the women's 15, which was the final distance event that we saw. Middle distance, whatever you want to say. On the track. And before we move on, we really do want to do a shout out to Graham Blanks.
So
the
top 10, he was
NCAA
9th.
runner
Really?
coming out.
Yes.
Wow.
9th.
Wow. And we weren't even sure that we were going to see Graham. Is that true?
Well, so the trials wise, he was 4th, and
Right.
Parker Wolf was in front, and he
Right.
was waiting on the points. And
Right.
he didn't get through, so Graham got through on the points, and that was amazing. I mean, there was never I can't imagine there was an expectation where we're
No.
seeing Graham Blanks
Yeah.
top 10 at the Olympic Games. But this guy continually shows up, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
you
He's
put
a
him-
racer.
You put him in he's a bona fide racer.
Like he wasn't hanging out the back, seeing maybe I can pick
No, he
up
was
some
stuck in it.
guys when the racing starts, and maybe people will kick, and then I can just pick up the stragglers. No, he was up there, jostling for a position, staying out of danger in the outside of lane 1, moving up at the right times, which is I think also a real testament. The college guys are built for this type of race,
Right.
Like a slow 5K that ramps up towards the end. A guy like Graham Blanks, who has done these races time and time again, coming off an NCAA season, it's set up for him. And I mean, it is a shame. It's so tough. You're sad to see when a guy like Parker Wolf qualifies and doesn't make it, and you're you feel for the guy. And I thought it was really I really like all the time interviews I've seen from Graham. I like what he says. I like how he talks, how he says I obviously wanted to be that third spot, but I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to make the most of it. And today he did exactly that. He raced really hard. I don't know how much international experience he has. I would imagine this is probably
This must be like
is it
his
his
first.
Yeah, I
first-
think this is his first.
first
Yeah.
international
First
meet.
team
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, look, he's gonna go to like some other international meets.
He's going to
and be
go to like
"This
the
sucks."
Flanders Cup
yeah.
in Belgium and be like, what?
Yeah. He's gonna be like, I had more people at my last workout.
Yeah.
Like it's so to be able to show up, race on this stage, and race really well, and he hasn't had the full build up, right? Like he didn't. You go into a final like this, and you want not just like a full health, like a year healthy. You want to stack healthy like years plural on top of each other. And he missed all of indoors, right? I don't know when he got hurt, when he got healthy, but you didn't see him run indoors. He won NCAA cross, and barely. I mean, he wasn't really even at full strength and like outdoors, right? He was like racing his way back into shape. Not the meet you want to be racing your way into shape for the Olympic final against these guys, but. So who knows? Like this is a guy I'm sure we'll see in the future of American distance running, making more teams. This won't be hopefully not his last Olympic Games. If he keeps showing up and racing like he has this year, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah.
Incredible. Graham Blanks, NCAA athlete, killing it out there. Moving it on to the women's 1,500 meter. This was in a crazy race. I mean, we're fist pumping out there. We're just waiting for this. We had two Americans, Nikki Hiltz, Ellie St. Pierre. Talking about them, they didn't really finish up, I think, quite where we wanted them to. But real quick, shout out to Jess Hull. I want to send it to you, Mitch, because as an Aussie over there, I mean, she just killed it. We saw someone who had built up this season with just taking, seconds off her PR race after race and rise to the pressure. I mean, she put herself in the mix of it with faith. I think her previous meet, that she was doing with the Diamond League, she went for it and I think got that confidence to be able to get her nose in it and stick there. I mean, talk me through what that's like for someone like Justin, what you've seen with her journey.
Yeah, I've been really lucky because I don't know how it's happened, but the last 2 years, just about every race she's run, I've somehow been the interviewer or like the commentator. So I've just watched her so closely, and she took a huge gamble last year. Like she came back from, the States and the big Nike group over there and was like, you know what, I'm going to back in my dad, Simon. He coached her when she was, just a young girl before Oregon, and backed it in. She has Harry and Finn, just two mates who she like brought to Europe. They just pacemaker. They all spend time together. And you look at that on paper, it's like, that's a weird setup. Like for an elite athlete, I'm not sure how that's going to go. And from strength to strength, from year to year, she's just built these foundations of just like the thing that she'd lacked was that back end ability to sustain. Like she was always there. She was fourth at World Indoors this year. She'd missed majors the years before, but she just couldn't quite hold that back end. So this year, it just seemed like something clicked. She didn't get injured. She had this, you talk about plural years of work built up. And that race with Faith a month ago, I think just unlocked that, that mental block that you have in your head, I'm assuming, where it's like, I can't do that. Like, I can't run that fast. Like, I can't, I think I'm fit, but I can't run that fast. And it, like the thing I took from the interview with her, she was like, I just remember thinking like, fuck it, like why not me? Why can't I do that? And then it worked, and then she broke the world record, and it's like, okay, I am really good at this. So this was the first championship she came in and was a medal contender. She wasn't a final contender, she was a medal contender. That's a new reality as well. So to see her actually medal, so she's the first Australian woman in history to medal in the 1,500. So that's a huge piece of history.
First Australian woman
in history
to
medal at the Olympics for the 15, which is great. And like we've had some stellar middle distance women come through. So she's the GOAT of our middle distance. 100%. She's the fifth fastest of all time, Australian record holder, Olympic silver medalist. Like that's just something that as Australians, like I don't think we ever thought maybe we would see. and for Jess to do it, like there's no better person to get it done. Like I was really stressed with probably 150 and it looked like there were 4 in it, and Faith starts to pull, and Georgie's coming absolutely flying, the Ethiopians on the inside, and your heart sinks because you're like, oh my, please don't be the one to leave without something. And then in the mix zone, she was like, I wasn't fucking leaving without something. Like I'll tell you that much. Like there was no way I was walking off that track without something. So it was awesome. Like I was stoked, obviously stoked for her family, stoked for her training partners, stoked for Australia. Like everyone was up 4 a.m, watch parties everywhere, tracks were open. Like it was a huge deal. So to harness the pressure, because Australians, like we've learned this week, like Ollie's spoken about, it can be a bit brutal. She's silenced a lot of people, and couldn't be prouder of her. Like it's been beautiful to be a small part of watching her journey. But yeah, I'm sure she'll get through media, and I know her husband Daniel's out right now with the rest of the whole crew. I'm sure I'll get some form of incoherent phone call shortly, but yeah, good on them. Like they really deserve it. But I mean, hats off to Ellie St. Pierre, who could not have positioned herself any better in the initial stages of this. Like 2:03, I think it was through the opening.
Well, yeah,
800. Let's break it down.
It was wild.
We're
Break it down.
working back from the results. This race is so fast.
Yeah.
It is so fast. And Gudov Sagai, as we've seen, who is just on paper not herself, she takes it out in 59:23. And not just like, 59 high, 59:23. Like,
She's been dropping a lot of really solid men out there.
yeah, unbelievable. Her first 300, she was coming through in like 43.
Oh my
Yeah.
It was absolutely blistering. And I think when
Coming off many prelims too, right?
and coming
Like,
off a
we've
ton of
seen-
prelims.
yeah.
I mean, I think she was just like, throw the spaghetti on the wall. Like, let's just see what sticks. And this, I really do think that opening lap probably put a little bit of a sting in Ellie's legs. Ellie jumps right behind Gudov and comes through right alongside her. And a lot of people were kind of sitting back, just as you would if you're coming through the 1500 in 59 seconds. And I do think that's where we saw Ellie just get a little bit of sand in the legs. It, as we've seen, slows down. They come through in 2:03, and now we're looking at sort of more normal splits for a lot of these really fast 1500s. Everybody bunches up. The gap gets bridged. They come through. They hit the bell in 2:52, and the last lap is just like position change. People are fading. People are surging. Laura Muir, who we've seen not really having her best year, runs the best tactical 1500 final that we've ever seen her run. She's usually in Ellie's position, kind of going out at a suicidal pace and ending up off the podium. We don't see her race like this, and she storms her way through and really turns around for a PB of 3:53.37. I mean, I'm not going to say I called it again, but I kind of called it again.
Say it.
With the podium of Faith Kipyegon, Olympic record 3:51.29 for the win. Jess Hull 3:52.56 for second. Georgia Bell national record. I mean, she's come kind of out of nowhere, and we think about the Brits, like they are. Laura Muir has carried this flag forever, and not. It's different than the Aussies, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen a ton of British women having very successful 1500 meter careers, and here we go, Georgia Bell 3:52.61 national record to round out the podium, and Dariba Wiltaji comes in for fourth at 3:52.75, which is again a PB, and these are the top four here, really the top five. Like this is very fast.
3:52 is crazy. So they've split 60. Faith's gone 59. The rest have split around 60, if not 59, because there's no guarantee they were on the front. That's crazy. I mean, Georgia Bell was absolutely motoring that last 120. And Jess said she celebrated and Georgia ran through and smashed her hand, and she had no idea she was that close. So she was like, I nearly fucked it up. She's like, I literally nearly gave up second. You called it perfectly, actually. You said it yesterday. You were like, watch out for her because her kick is so
lethal,
devastating.
Yeah.
And she nearly got up for second, but bronze is huge.
Yeah, I think, well, one, it's nearly impossible to find the splits on like World Athletics, but Georgia Bell, I think, was maybe one of the smartest racers out there today. She hung back as much as I think was possible during that first lap. She was probably positioned in something like 7th and was coming through more in like 61 point rather than 59 point or 60. And then I was yelling at Eric. I was like, if Georgia gets a medal, it's because she just fell off the back on the first lap and then caught herself up. No, she was a freight train coming over the last, 400 meters and then just walked down the home stretch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earned bronze. That was amazing.
It was like Laura Muir. I think first off, she's had such a amazing career, and to see that she's PR, like she's running faster than she's ever run in like during a year where we haven't been talking about it, right? She's not finishing the same way and up. She used to be winning all these races, right? She's an Olympic medalist before. She was dropped, right? Like she was way off the back. It looked like, okay, like Laura's just not having a great day. You realize then that, they're coming through in 59, and then she's steadily closing the gap. Unbelievably tactical. I think it is probably feels great for her, right? She ran fast, but at the same time, I'm sure right now she's thinking, I run that just slightly more aggressive, and I could have ended up on that podium. She just was closing so well. I don't think I don't think like Jess and Faith Kipyegon are the talent of the field, and I don't think that they had that top 2 spots kind of locked up. But in another race, Laura Muir, I really think she could have, like with how she looked, how smart that race was. If she was a bit more aggressive and ran a bit more like her British teammate, she would have been battling her more. So happy for Jess. Trained with her a bit, know her. Such an amazing person, and to be the first one of a country to like get a medal, there's so much pressure on you, and I'm sure has been hearing about that all the time, right? And as soon as you run 350, right now you are expected to do it.
Yeah.
If she didn't medal today, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
Which is a very hard position to be in, and it's almost unfair in a way, right? Because it's so hard to medal.
Yeah.
It's like you do something that's so unbelievably tough to do, or you have failed, and it is a very hard spot to be for these athletes. But when you run that fast and you're that talented, like that's just kind of how it is. Let's talk about like the Americans for a bit. Yeah. Nikki, 4th place.
No,
7th.
Seventh.
7th place. Oh, I thought she finished up higher. But such an amazing year for them, right? Multiple sub 4 races.
Didn't run sub 4 before the season. Has
right?
done it now
Yeah.
3
Pretty
times.
classic. First time that they broke that 4-minute barrier. Saw them finish up 7th. Yes, Ellie St. Pierre 8th. Not where we wanted them to be, right?
I mean, it's not where you like. These are athletes that are talented enough to be fighting for the medals, and so they want medals. But again, we've said it a lot. It's like the Bryce Hoppel situation, where it's like what you can only do as what you can do, right? And in a race like this, I just think that Nikki ran fantastic, was tactically aggressive in it, very smart. Ellie, I don't think she looked quite as sharp or the same athlete that she's looked in years past. But again, like these races it was incredibly fast. The semis were just so hard, especially Nikki ran 356, 355. Second off
Quick.
their PR. It's just incredibly quick. Fantastic experience. It's just going to lend itself for them to just do better and better as the years come, as the championship races come. So,
And look at a woman like Jess Hull, right? Like she's been in many finals and we haven't seen her on a podium yet. Sometimes it just takes your body a few times of going to that level, experiencing that level of lactic, experiencing the pressure, experiencing a stadium like this, experiencing the rounds over and over and over. And like I said yesterday, we are at the pinnacle of the women's 1500. This is the best it has ever been, ever. And so I think it's hard in some respects. It's a blessing and a curse, right? Like you're in the era. Like it's like you're playing ball against Michael Jordan. Like, are you gonna be sad that you lost, or are you gonna be happy that you're like riding this wave of this incredible experience of being part of this? And I think everybody in this race that didn't win a medal should be looking to the future to say, that's going to be me next time.
Yep.
Because I put my body in that position to go through, for Ellie to go through in 59 or 60 flat. Like I've been there now. I'm getting closer to, I mean, I can't think about that. Like we celebrate sub 4 miles for men, and here we have like women going through at sub 4 pace. Like that is just bananas. Like I can't.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Like, I can't underline how big of a deal this moment is for the women's 1500. And we should be reveling in this. And I mean, Nikki and Ellie, they ran so great and they're having such great years. Yeah. And really all of the rest of the American women, like how many American women do we have in the stable that would have made this final?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. A lot.
And there's a lot to be said about that. I think you're right. And I saw Nikki briefly in the mix zone, and they were stoked.
Good.
They were very proud of the year they've put together, and so they should be. Obviously, naturally, like I said earlier, every athlete wants more. That inner critic is always so loud after a major championship. But, you know, they were smiling, and they couldn't have done any more. Like, they tactically ran this race to the best of their ability. And some days, you know, it's your day and you're going to have this out-of-body experience where you can roll with it and you're feeding off the energy. You're thinking this is the best thing ever. But to come out and run another 356 after a previous 356, there's
so
so
good.
much in that. And
it's
like
so
Jess
good.
should be that benchmark now.
Yes.
Jess is that benchmark now where you look at it and go, wow, okay, if I can hang tough and just keep rocking up and change my race plan and be adaptable and learn. You know, Faith now is also a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Like, do you know how crazy in that era?
That's crazy.
In the era you're talking about, where it's
crazy.
like the best we've seen. It's like that is the best we have ever had in this event, and it's. What can you do?
We might not see another person like this for 20 years.
I can't see someone getting triple gold in this event for a long time to come.
Well, what I love about Faith's win is look at that picture right there. This is what I was exactly about to reference. You said 3 times, right? This looks like someone who, like, was a surprise that they won. I mean, she's winning and in basking in that glory. And I think that's what we keep tuning in for as fans, right? We're seeing someone who we all expected to win. I mean, we said it was her race to lose, and we're seeing the triumph. We are seeing someone who, you know, is winning gold as if they're like a kid again, and they're just so ecstatic. And to your point, Aisha, I think we are getting greedy, and I think it's kind of fun. It's fun to get greedy, to see these semis go so quick. I mean, historically quick, right? We had a little bit of a discrepancy. One semi went a little faster. I'd love to look at an analysis in retrospect after this and see, you know, how those heats stacked up here. I mean, in real time, I'm sure we can think about it. You know, Nikki, I believe they were in the faster heat. Not so much, you know, Ellie was in a slower heat, so we didn't quite see that. The one thing I was, you know, disappointed with Ellie was we really got an honest race from her, right? We've usually see Ellie stacked up with other races. You know, she's a 3K champ. So she's a range, right? And at the trials we saw her double dip in the 5K. So this was an honest race for her. I think to your point, Aisha, she went out and went for it, and that's going to pay dividends later on, right? We're going to see like a Jess Hull situation where she's been going for it maybe a little bit more longer in this even just the league between with the Diamond League in between the trials and what we've seen her now and pre-classic. Sorry, I'm rambling here a little bit, but that's where we saw last Jess Hull and Ellie matchup. We saw glimmers of her. We saw glimmers of Jess edging out Ellie, even more than edging her out at the pre-classic. I think that's what we need. We need people to start sooner going for it.
Well, I mean, a bit more to that point, right, is that Jess has made a huge leap in her abilities this year, and she's just racing a lot better. But these athletes, Nikki, Ellie, they've raced her a lot, and seeing her make that next step to the podium, to the best in the world, it's just going to say, look, I can be there. I know what it's like to race Jess and take her to the wire. And so I can't, if she can do it, so can I. And it's just going to bring all these young, incredibly talented athletes in the U.S. and around the world up with them, right? I mean, Gudov's a guy with quite possibly the most bizarre race strategy in history.
Why would you lead?
I just can't even.
We talked about it yesterday. The Ethiopian Federation says, look, I would rather you go out and die than win a match.
Right. Yeah. Win the
and
first
Gudov's
lap.
the guy says, that's fine by me.
I'm going to look at my notes and pull a little bit of an Eric here. In my notes, I have what the fuck Gudov. Like, what are we doing? Now, I'm definitely not allowed in Cincinnati, but I'm just going to say it. Like,
welcome.
what are we doing? Like, I think this was a very a move that was a lack of confidence of just like we see an athlete that's probably frustrated, that's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go out at a truly suicidal pace, and we'll see if I can break the field and if something can happen with it. But it's just like, it's just not a recipe for success, and it's annoying to me as a spectator of like, why are we doing this? But it did end up making for a very, very fast race when you have somebody doing some dumb stuff in the front that people that are sitting back end up benefiting from this.
Well,
it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me.
Like post 10K, you're probably not thinking, let's make this an all-out 4.
I forgot that you were in the 10K
let's just go
last
full
night.
gas and see if they can roll. It's like, you don't have that in. There's no juice in those legs. You squeezed them last night. There's no way you're getting anything out of them. And then they just go straight on by. Like, and you're opening it up to Faith, who's the world record holder. You're opening it up to someone like Jess, who's just run 350. You know, you're opening it up to all these athletes who are like, I'm waiting for speed. Yes, like, go get it. I don't want to lead, but I want it to be quick.
Yeah.
Maybe the race would look different. Maybe the results would look different if Gudov's the guy isn't pushing this 59-second tempo
nonsense.
to kick things off. Like,
I think we'd see an American on the podium.
I was about to say that.
I genuinely think that race type would suit a Nikki Hiltz. Because their kick is devastating when they have it in their legs, right? And I was a bit worried about it. You know, obviously faded a little bit with 300 to go, but that's always something you're thinking of. It's like, oh my God, if they leave this too late, you know, Nikki can come over the top. But yeah, to clip 59 fresh off a 10K and fresh off a huge week, it's like I don't know what.
Well, how many?
Where do you think that's going to go?
Maybe talking to Safan Hassan too much. Like, I've lost my mind.
Like, is your head okay?
Yeah.
She's like, no.
She's like, actually,
What's going
All
on?
right,
there?
popping around.
She's like, I'm so glad you brought this up.
How many athletes have
God.
gone in this race, like to go out in 59 in a 1500 meter race, 59 low
Yeah.
That's gotta
I'm
be
upset.
incredibly unfamiliar territory.
I'm
Yeah.
upset.
We kept seeing her name, and I was like, the same Gudov? Like the one that's in the other room.
I was just shocked to see her at the front. I was like, I did not see
I
that
knew she was gonna
coming.
do something like this.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I'm
it's-
like,
she was gonna do that dumb
I
shit.
saw
Sets
her
up perfectly for Faith Kipyegon.
No,
Yeah.
Right?
No,
It's just
totally,
Like, okay,
yeah.
Faith's
It's
like,
perfect
oh, it's
situation.
perfect. Like, it's gonna
Yeah.
be fast. And
Like,
she's like, oh my god,
thanks.
59-2. Like,
Yeah.
she's
Great.
got no shot.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Cha-ching.
girlfriend. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
just sit on until you die.
And it's
Yeah.
and we talked about how she hasn't run well this games necessarily, but if she doesn't do that, you wouldn't be surprised to see Sagai end up on the podium stand. Like, it just makes no sense to run that race thinking, okay, I'm gonna drop Faith Kipyegon, drop Jess Hull, drop all these athletes, and just like run onto the podium myself. But as we heard, like, the Ethiopian Federation is set.
Yeah.
fast.
I mean, same
yeah.
as Hagos riding that men's 5K, the blitz like that with 600 to go. It's
Yeah.
like, you don't need to be doing these.
Yeah, but like at least
silly
like
things.
Let's go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's literally
Yeah.
like Gebroet taking that 5K out in like 52 and just being like, I think
Yeah,
I
this
got
makes
it.
a lot of sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna string this out. I think. Look, I got out in 52, and I think I can absolutely run Jakob's door, like the legs
Blow
right
the
out of
doors
him.
off, yeah.
It's like it makes no sense for Sagai to do that, but
Right.
it
Yeah.
plays incredibly well for
Where'd
Faith
she finish?
Kipyegon. But yeah, I think other athletes
Gudov.
could have made the podium if Sagai
Gudov
doesn't
finished.
do that.
Gudov finished last.
Dead last. And what
Yeah.
I was most surprised with was, a veteran like Ellie St. Pierre, like a little, I don't know if the strategy was going in. I don't know if other runners, really understood, hey, Sagai's going to be taking this out and going to die. We really need
Yeah.
to.
Like,
We're going to take her out back.
Yeah.
We're going to take her out back.
Heads,
Put
just
her
a
out of
heads
the
up,
misery.
Sagai's gonna take it out so
Yeah,
hard.
that's when
and
you
shit.
wish that you had that this was like cycling and you wish you had a race radio where you could just tap and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Ellie, back off, girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
off.
It's like-
She's going stupid." But
Yeah.
I think that when you're in the moment, you want it so badly.
Yeah.
And you're not looking, it's a championship race. You're
Yeah.
not looking at the clock. And honestly, the adrenaline is pumping through your body so hard that like you think that, yeah, you probably feel pretty good. These women are fit. They are fit. They are fast. They are sharp. They are rested. They are ready to go. And so you're in the first 300, you probably don't even realize it's happening. And it's such a stupid move that you wouldn't conceive of this being as a split that's actually being run. So, we can sit on our chairs and be like, "Oh, Ellie, why'd you go with?" But it makes sense why she went with, because you want to end up on the podium. Ellie knows she's strong. She can run from the front, hold people off, and it's just not the best
You're not
situation.
gonna let a group
Yeah.
of 7 athletes like
Go.
go.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not. Laura Muir did that, and it almost
paid off, yeah.
Almost paid off.
Yeah.
and
Humming
that's
on that back,
and
right?
Yeah,
and
she
that
really was.
Is just incredibly rare, right?
So, to that point, where was I didn't see her opening 400. So where was Georgia Bell?
She was right in the back. She was in the very back,
the back
of that, pack.
lead. Okay,
Yeah,
so
She
she
was
ran.
on,
She
was on
ran
the
it
group,
perfectly
like connected
then.
to them.
Yeah, okay.
But just not at
Didn't
all.
lose
like, just
contact.
didn't lose
Out of
contact.
trouble.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. I wonder. You guys would be the best to answer this, but in that high intensity environment, for like, I don't want to keep like nailing it into Ellie, but like, is it a situation of you might like how much are you actually thinking and how much are you reacting?
No.
That's my point. Like,
No thoughts.
Yeah, you're just reacting.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you don't want to miss them. You don't
Correct.
want to think that that's the move and then miss it, and then you're kicking yourself. You're like, shit, I should have gone out at that pace, and maybe I would have been in a different situation.
Yeah.
Like,
I would just say, I think, sorry, you guys can repeat this, but I think the Americans were prepared to try to run 350 like Jess Hull.
Yeah.
Because they were like, first off,
Well, Mac is
Yeah,
saying the
okay.
Americans maybe were prepped to try and run 350.
Pull a
just
Jess.
pull a Jess.
pull a Jess.
I
love
know.
that.
I love it. I love it.
That's
I love it. And like we said, like this is setting up for the next just firecracker success that we're going to see from them. And screw it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like Why not? Why not?
Well, the more you put yourself out there, like the more opportunity you're going to give yourself to have that big breakthrough
Right.
race. You're never going to get that race if you don't continually take the big swings.
Yeah.
I'm
You saw that with
terrified.
Jess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrified for the Diamond Leagues.
Oh, they're going to be
Celestia is
ripped
going to
up.
be
Yeah.
gnarly.
Because there's always world record attempts
Yeah.
in Poland.
Mitch, you gotta throw me a mic.
Here comes
Throw
Mac
him
with
a
the mic.
Here we go.
Sorry, just because the other mic isn't working. No, and just speaking on like the growth of the U.S. athletes, one, and we've talked about this through the prelims and the semis and trials, when Mark Coogan told Ellie St. Pierre to not go out in 2:03 during the final, which meant to me, hey, Ellie and Mark think that maybe she can run 350 one day. It might not be this season, but like that's what they're training to do. And if you watch Jess, who they race frequently, like that's what they're at least thinking about. And then from just personal experience being close to Nikki, like Nikki used to not be able to go out in 210. That's 65s, that's 404 pace. Like that was a struggle to mentally commit to going out in 210, let alone 208 for flat pace. And so just like as a friend, watching Nikki be able to commit to a 59-second first lap of a 1,500 meter and just seeing the growth over the last 3 years from 2021 to now is just amazing to see. And then also, I don't know if they overlapped at Oregon or if Nikki was already transferred to Arkansas, but good friends, Jess Hull and Nikki, they race very frequently. They race all the way back in Dempsey indoors. I think they ran a 1K indoors in the Dempsey, and they had like a little mini camp in Seattle.
When Jess
Being able to
won,
see each other
yeah.
do that is just a really cool thing.
When Jess won NCAA's, wasn't Nikki
I think Nikki was second.
Right?
Yeah, Nikki
in
was
Arkansas.
second at Oregon. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So they've spent
Incredibly
a career
cool,
together,
yeah, it's-
And
which is really
Susan.
cool.
And Susan Ajor is also an Oregon Duck. Like this is
Yeah, Susan. Okay, Susan is another story. Susan's 20 years old, and Susan ran. I don't have her right now. Susan, what did Susan run today? 356.
Susan ran a personal best in. Susan ran 356 flat.
Yeah, Susan's
Woo!
20 years old.
duck loaded
That's-
final because
that
there's also
is
the
great.
the Polish athlete.
Oh yeah, Kazimierska.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, that sounds right.
Right.
4 ducks in the.
She ran 4 flat.
But no,
.1
like
PB.
Aisha, to your like greater point of like things are changing right now. We're all saying it, and this super special season and a super special games just to see just the growth and the commitment the athletes are taking to going out faster and just seeing how fast they can actually run. It's really cool.
Definitely a little bit of a changing of the guards. Something we also saw, maybe a little change of the guards. I want to touch on this marathon this morning. Kipchoge, I think the headliner here was a DNF. We saw him not exactly complete the marathon. We hope Chris is going to beat
Yeah.
Kipchoge today.
Do
No,
we-
have
we
you not read
know?
the
I was gonna
text?
say,
Have you not read these?
do we have?
I'm not an
no.
official Sidious person, so I'm not on the group chat. I'm like
Chris,
the one person that's like the loser friend that didn't make the
on.
group chat. But where are we with Chris?
Chris dropped at 25.
What?
He was like, I'm out. And then he said
What?
he was. He
At
said he was
25.
25
1 mile to go?
And
1 point?
25K.
Oh.
And so then he said he was too far out
Not
of
the
Paris
same.
to drop out there, so we had to keep running.
I love that.
So the last
He's like, I don't know where I am. I didn't even. I'm in a
last I
bad
heard, he
spot.
was
I can't
back
catch the
running to get
metro.
towards
Yeah, we can
Paris.
see his little runner icon there.
Is this Chris?
Yeah,
Come
35K, 35K.
Move your ass, Chavez.
I wish we could FaceTime him in.
Move your ass. There's nothing to say we can't.
Oh, Mitch,
Yeah,
shoot
that
him
is
the
so-
FaceTime.
that is
I love
so
it.
good.
Did
Let's
I
get him in
He's
here.
like,
Yeah.
please, for the love of God, don't be live.
Any chance we can get some splits? What's this?
Yeah.
What's this son of a bitch running over here?
Can't be well.
What's he worth? Is he?
538 Ks. Well, that was his last.
Oh yikes!
What?
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at least he's running and Kipchoge wasn't. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Um,
That's
I
the
got
clickbait-
I gotta
that's the
give
clickbait.
Kipchoge props though. I don't know if everybody has seen Chris's tweet earlier today, but So Kipchoge rolls in without a shirt and without shoes. Like the man literally gave the shirt off his back to the folks that were helping him. There were a bunch of volunteers that were just like helping him out. And how can you not love the guy? He's like, you know what? Yeah. The guy is
They're like-
the
They took
guy's
his
just got.
boxers,
He's wearing
too.
like
Like,
yeah.
whoa, I didn't say you
Yeah.
could
They're
take
like,
that.
the king indeed.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you gotta love it. You gotta love
Yeah,
it.
no, it's
Beautiful man. Yeah. Beautiful.
I wonder
person.
if this is kind of like, look, this might be, I don't want to say like the end of Kipchoge, but this is kind of a sport where you don't it is so rare to get the moment to go out on top, right? You go out on your shield and like you go out swinging and you usually, it is so rare to ride off in the sunset with that moment.
Look at him. We just pulled up the photo. Mac just pulled up the photo of him, bare-chested. Look at his smile. What a just beautiful
my
human
God.
being.
So much light.
So much light.
And it's not. It's a light smile.
Yeah.
He's like radiating.
No,
I
he
love
is.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
He's
like
glowing.
he's got.
I smiled back at it. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's a smile
Yeah.
you smile back at.
He's
Yeah.
glowing.
He has kind of become like the face of marathon running. I mean,
God,
not
yeah.
kind of. He
He
is
is.
the face of marathon running. He's got aura, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah.
but is this maybe the end of like
The Kipchoge as we know
winning-
him.
Yes,
Yeah.
winning the races, winning
Yeah.
like dominating gold medals.
Might be.
It might be, and that's fine. Like
That's
that's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
He's gonna go down as one of the greatest of all time in terms of all of distance running, right? But yeah, just the marathon today in general was fantastic. Big win for Ethiopia. You
Got
know,
to ride in the marathon.
they got it right.
it turns out you can lead pretty far out in the marathon and do just fine.
Yeah.
But that's Tamarat Tola.
Props,
It's
yeah.
absolutely insane that this guy wasn't on the official Ethiopia selection. Like
Wow.
who the hell
Yeah.
is
are we
making
surprised?
these up? No, honestly, with whoever's drawing up the race plans, they're also like, leave Tamarat in Ethiopia. It dominated the race. We saw Americans like Conor Mantz up there for a while, ran really aggressive, but just couldn't quite hold on to that. To the top spot. Him and Clayton still ran incredibly
Right.
well.
We saw
Oh,
the
wait, seventh and
Americans
eighth?
go
Eighth and
8-9,
ninth. Yeah.
2:08.12 for Connor, 2:08.44 for Clayton Young. I mean, the course was wild out there. It was hot, it was hilly. We can't really go off times, but we saw them go 8-9, and that was in 2016. I think it was the last time we had two Americans place in the top 10 in the men's Olympics, and I mean, it was a stellar job for them out there.
I mean, 2:08 is actually ridiculous
On that course, that's gnarly.
That is, like, guys were not anticipating it was going to be that quick.
I did
can
not.
tell you that.
Olympic record,
No, like,
2:06.26
on that,
to win.
like, if you look at the feet of elevation, it's great. Like, guys
No,
are running
thanks.
over 8-minute mile pace up that hill. Like, the best of the best were running over 8-minute mile pace up that hill. So to come out and run 2:06 is just
Unreal.
psychotic.
Yeah.
Like Pat said, and I think he was 24th maybe in the end, but he ran 2:10, and he was like, I thought 2:10 would genuinely be enough to be top 10.
yeah.
Like he thought, if I ran 2:10 today, I'm coming top 10.
He was 24th.
There you go,
Fastest
24th.
Aussie ever in the Olympics, right?
Fastest Aussie ever in the Olympics. So it's been a good day for the Australians.
Yeah.
Great day
Yeah.
for the
And like I said
Aussies.
last night, like he's a grinder. Like this is
Yeah.
his course,
Yeah.
and this is
Right.
only
Yeah.
his third marathon. If you think of it in that context,
I thought
So-
a big race today was
Yeah.
Emil Caress coming in fourth,
huge.
for Great Britain. I thought that was
Yeah.
And this is what his third. Is this his third
I
marathon?
think so. Yeah,
so
very
it's
young.
just like
Wow.
every time out there, he's crushing it.
Yeah.
To come
Yeah.
in fourth in a field like this on the stage, we've talked about how brutal the course is. Chavez decided he wants to experience it firsthand.
Psycho.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So the cool thing with Caress as well was it seemed like he was one of the few that went with the push up the hill. It seemed like a really crunching moment where it was like you've got to find something in your body to go and chase after like Abdi and Tola and all that sort of stuff. Now Tola was up and gone. Like he was running at a clip that couldn't be managed. But shout out to Caress. Like that is such a tough marathon, and to come away with fourth,
Yeah.
the Brits would be stoked, and he kicked down actually. So
Was this
I think he was
Abdi's?
six.
Was this Abdi's second Olympic
Second
medal?
Olympic
Medal,
gold.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, second Olympic medal.
Yeah.
Medal,
What,
yeah.
Was he third last time, or was he? Yeah. So
Yeah.
a guy who is just now in kind of the later, because like Bashir Abdi was a track guy for a very, very long time. Really cool, such a nice guy. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
had the
lovely.
pleasure to meet him. It was
Yeah.
lovely, like for sure, and runs just the marathon is his thing. He just runs so. Every single time he's out there, he is the guy to beat. Second place in this.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of headbands out there. Did you guys see these?
Yeah, these things look disgusting, but
They
must
gotta
be
fi-
good.
like
They
it's
must be good.
it's a new like technology. It cools your head down.
Really?
It is, yeah. Very funny to see though.
What is it like in the fabric? What is
No,
it
I
like a
think
cooling
it's like-
fabric?
Yeah,
Yeah, Max
Mac
got
has
it.
more
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Give
Agreed.
us some insight here.
Hit us.
It's looking a little retro. It's looking a little like
We'll do a little
sport
bit
bands.
of a plug just because I know
Plug 'em.
some of the guys that are there. I think it's called pronounced Omius or Omius, and it's like some what do I want to say? They're like little gel caps that are along your forehead. You're supposed to get them wet, and then the evaporation effect just kind of cools your head.
We could have used
pretty
that
cool. I have
last
some
week
at
when it
home.
was
They
90
work.
degrees
Yeah.
in Paris with no air
Yeah,
conditioning.
are they?
I should
are
have
they
brought 'em here.
to market? Can we buy them?
We're at the Olympics, and we can't push anyone to buy anything here.
And
Or
we
else
never
they'll nuke
would.
us off of every
That
channel
was a
known
trick.
to existence.
It would be
so.
hilarious. We're just sitting here doing live shows
But yeah,
with those things.
a lot
on.
of the marathoners are wearing them in heat and triathletes.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
Interesting.
it's in terms of someone that's like always interested in like what gear is allowed.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Well,
Oh,
was
it's fun.
anyone else like? I just want to know like the data on this. Besides Abdi, did we see anyone else out there with the cooling
goat
agents?
had
The
it.
goat, yeah.
yeah. Kipchoge was wearing
had
it.
them.
Okay, so that's we've got two different results of how they maybe work. But that's incredible. We saw, so just to wrap, or not to wrap it up, but to explain it, right? We've got Tola had the gold, Abdi in silver. Bringing it up in bronze, we had Kenya, Benson,
Benson
Kipruto.
Kipruto.
Kipruto, killing it out there. Walk me through his race. What do you look like?
I mean, he definitely looked strong. I mean, obviously there were some challenges in that third spot for a while. It felt like there was a group that was probably hanging around until the mid 30K marker. Japanese guy was in there, Kani. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but he certainly threw his weight around as well. But Benson Kipruto he's a strong runner, and naturally, I think we spoke about it last night briefly, that he was someone that we all thought could get up into the medals on a best day. Massive for Kenya. I think that's a medal that they'll be really proud of, because it hasn't necessarily been their
not been their
strongest
championships.
showing here in Paris. So that would have been very heavily celebrated. Then you roll into Faith tonight, and it starts to create a different narrative where it's like, okay, we missed, but we've also had these. But I mean, Benson Kipruto could have been a guy that could win this thing. So to come away with the bronze, you can see it in this picture. He's clearly stoked, but yeah, he definitely had to work with some challenges, not too far behind him.
I'm excited to see what the women's marathon looks like tomorrow. If it's
Yeah.
as
Quick.
as quick as the men's turned out to be this morning.
It's going to be a bit hotter
Is it?
tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tomorrow we've got a high of 89 degrees Fahrenheit.
Christ.
So
In the morning?
in the morning, start time is 8 a.m.
Yeah.
64. By the time we're finishing, we're in the 70s.
Wow.
That's hot.
Stayed a bit cooler this
Yeah.
morning.
Incredible.
So that's going to be a factor for sure. But I do think that the men's result changed the narrative on what we thought this was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are probably women that are thinking, hey, actually, I can motor on this course, and maybe feeling a little bit more confident than previously they might have felt.
Yeah, I think you saw that because they built this one specific hill up to be. They literally said like a
Hell.
torture test.
Yeah.
Like it's like, would you rather get waterboarded or run
Or
this
do the
hill?
hill.
And they're all like, you know what?
The water
I'm
boy
not
doesn't
afraid of
sound bad,
water.
Yeah.
Pretty hot, actually.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Could use it.
Cool me down.
Yeah.
I'll drown for a bit. you exactly to Aisha's point. Like I do think this is going to inspire women to be like, look, this isn't something to be afraid of. Like I can run this hill. I'm going to like you charge up the hill, like you lean into it. Don't let it break you down, right? Like like all athletes have like been taught how to run hills, right? You be aggressive in it. You don't like sit back and try and let it get the best. It's just you are going to see a lot of the females run really fast. I'm excited to see Sifan Hassan, like how she's been able to recover from all the races so far. I think
she'll be great.
I think she's gonna medal.
Yeah.
But is it gonna be a break? Like is it gonna be the breakaway like Tola today? Are you gonna see an athlete take it from farther out and do a lot of the work on their own? Other athletes are just working together in a pack, trying to get up onto the podium, but with a bigger. Someone said it looked like the Tour de France out there.
Yeah.
And it actually did.
100%.
Like, it kind of did look like there was a peloton. You saw people, and this was because I think of the hill, but people were like reaching into, because it was all fenced off, and there was people like reaching in with flags, like right up onto the runners, which I'm like, I always think like, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like want to be hit by anything like while I'm racing, but it makes for a fantastic like viewing experience.
Yeah.
And probably giving some energy to the runners that are
100%.
entering this death march up the hill.
I mean, shout out to Paris. Everywhere, every sport you've gone to has been loaded. Like the
awesome.
crowd has been insane.
It's awesome.
It sounded like today, listening to some of the guys, that it's the downhill that's the most important part on this course. Like not losing. Like you can lose contact on an uphill, that's fine. Well, not fine, but you can maybe, as long as you can sustain what that distance is looking like downhill, you can probably work that back a little easier. The second you let that elastic band snap downhill, it's gone.
Yeah.
Because you know that you've already spent all your biscuits trying to get up that thing.
Yeah.
You lose it downhill, it's like, well, now I'm fucked. I'm not getting anywhere near you.
I've got no more biscuits.
Yeah, I'm hungry now. Like, I spent all
I'm
my
like,
biggies.
look, I walked into a cute shop. I didn't know I could pay with biscuits,
Yeah.
so I did.
You spend all your bickies and then you're fucked. So you've got to conserve the bickies and just try and hold on down that hill, because it sounds like it's pretty brutal.
Is
A lot
the-
of
steep.
is
a lot of
the
guys
hill
complain
as-
about their toes as well.
Oh,
Jamming into the front of their shoes.
Yeah.
So
lost
you
toenails.
should
We're
not
gonna
be
need-
awake, but if you are, cut your toenails. Yeah, because it
God.
sounded like a lot of
Yeah.
guys had some
Ouchie.
pretty bad times with the toes.
Wow. Well,
Go get a pedicure.
Yeah.
Like Valby.
Parker Valby
Parker's
gave us
probably got some nail tech rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's
we saw
ready
her
to
out
go.
and about
Yeah.
trying to find a lock down some service, and she
Yeah.
did. Her nails look great.
Yeah.
Shout out, Parker. Well done.
Shout out Parker. Wow.
So who are we thinking for the podium?
Well, to shout out the Americans really quick, we've got Dakota Lindworm, Fiona O'Keefe, Emily Sisson. Those are who you got to watch out for on the course tomorrow. If one of them medals, I mean, I know we didn't see Emily take that top dog spot at the trials. I do think she's a Grant Fisher to me. She's reliable. She's consistent. I think if anyone's going to stay pretty level-headed through this heat, through the hills, it's Emily Sisson. So my odds are on her to at least break up into that top 10. How close she
Agree.
can get to contention is up to her.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if Matt could maybe pull up like the starting
I got
list.
it, if
I
you would
think
like
that Emily Sisson is someone who runs so well in the heat.
She does.
I always think about
Yeah.
what was it the year when she ran the 2021
Olympic trials.
Yeah.
Olympic
Just
trials, the 10K, when it
ripped
was like
that 10K.
genuinely the hottest day in Oregon history.
Yes.
And that they had to move the men's 1500 back like 5 hours because it was just so ungodly hot.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's fine, just run the 10K.
Yeah, Emily's got it. No worries.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we're good.
She's got her
Whatever.
sunglasses on, just cool as a cucumber.
That's cool. They're tough. They
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And she just ran from the gun from the front, pulling at an unbelievable pace in the heat. I think she's someone who can withstand these elements and kind of brave these type of conditions. I do think Sifan, Ben's talking a lot about she's going to end up on the podium. She has so far. I'd love to see her go 3 for 3 with races and podiums.
I think we're going to see people who are really great at the grueling majors. And the two women I'm thinking most about are Helen Obiri and Sharon Lokedi.
Of course, Helen Obiri, yeah.
Helen for sure.
And the two of those women just absolutely blasted the Boston Marathon. Their splits of their last mile, I think they were running like 4:30 something for their last mile of the Boston Marathon. So those two can handle the uphills. They can handle the downhills. And I think the head-to-head racing component here is gonna be a major significance. I would look for those two to both be on the podium.
And Sharon didn't. She wasn't like in the initial Kenyan selection, was she not?
Correct. Yes.
Someone had to get hurt.
Bridget
Someone had to
Kosgei got
get
hurt.
But like,
Yeah.
And Sharon
Somebody had to
hurt her.
hurt
Yeah, I
themselves.
mean the whole situation for that selection criteria was very confusing because people were watching. They published this criteria, the short list of 5 women who were on it, and Bridget Kosgei had run stupid fast, but hadn't really raced much or well in recent history. And Helen and Sharon were just absolutely duking it out against each other. Lest we forget, Sharon is the New York City Marathon champion. Helen's Boston Marathon champion. They can't miss a podium at a major. And those, for whatever reason, Sharon just was passed over. Bridget got selected. Bridget is now hurt. Sharon's got the spot. And I think that's probably a bit of fire for her. Like, oh, you didn't pick me. Hold my beer. Watch this.
yeah, it's like she was someone who I felt like, and I think most people felt like, oh, she should be on this team.
Yeah.
She's so consistent. This is kind of a course. Talk about someone who does well on hard courses. New York City champion, not a flat course.
No.
And has taken Helen to the line in multiple times. So Helen Obiri, she's only run a few marathons, right? Like how many? Is she undefeated in marathons?
Let's go to Chris.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Hey,
we
guys.
wear that
Podium.
medal proudly.
Chris, tell us, how was it?
That course is so tough. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I walked up the hill. It was bad. It was as bad as it's advertised.
The whole hill?
And then the whole hill, all the way up. And then on the way
Didn't
down,
even try?
it's very easy to just start rolling. But you gotta be smart and keep your legs under you. And I did that. So I tried dropping out at 13, and then I talked to the medic, and I was like, "Hey, where can I get a Lime bike?" He's like, "They don't have those outside of Paris." And he goes, "Oh, okay." I was like, "What about an Uber?" He's like, "All the roads are closed." And I was like, "What's the easiest way? Is there trains?" He's like, "Not at this hour." And I was like, "What's the easiest way for me to get back?" And he goes, "Keep going." And I was like, "The whole way?"
Roasted.
The whole way?
Oh, man.
And he goes, "Yeah, the whole way." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh.
But then I finally did get to like 37K, and there was, I started seeing Lime bikes, and at that point I was like, you know what, I'm just going to finish this thing. And I did that. I got under before 1 a.m. So that has to be under 4 hours, even though I even started a little later than that. So all in all, that was good.
Well done, Chris.
Great.
Incredible.
Chris.
You look good.
Way to
Running
finish it
on
off.
4 hours of sleep and vibes. You've got a slice of pizza, a whole pizza here with your name on it. Cheese, no onions, no tomatoes. Totally a plain cheese pizza. I'm saying this with trauma in
That
my
sounds-
voice.
That sounds amazing to me. All right, my phone's going to die. I need to find my way home.
Oh my
Need
God.
help?
It's dead. It's gone.
Oh yeah, I think we lost.
It's gone. Oh,
Yeah, turn your phone off.
Chris, go.
Airplane
Chris.
mode.
We're gonna hang up on you.
Chris Chavez,
Wow,
everyone,
wow.
with the Paris Marathon.
Yeah, Chris.
Running the course.
God,
Wow,
I
walked
cannot
up.
believe he finished
finished
That's
and walked
brutal.
up the hill. I mean, that's a testament, I think, to how hard that course is, or how underslept Chris
That's
might
so
be.
brutal to get and be like, please give me a way home. It's
Yeah.
like, keep running, buddy.
And run.
Keep fucking going.
Run.
You're like,
They'd be
that's
like,
literally
that's
the
the
last
last
thing
thing I
brutal.
want to be doing
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
I'm talking
trying to do
you
anything
because
but
I
that.
can't run.
Yeah.
Anything but that.
Oh
Yeah.
my
The medic
God.
just
Whatever
saying,
you
keep
want.
going,
Just
kid.
find me
I
something.
love that he gets in the city and starts seeing line bikes. And you know
Yeah.
what? I've come this far. F it.
I
I'm going
respect
in.
it.
I
Good for
respect that.
Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I
That's
can't
all-
believe he
yeah,
did
that's
it.
awesome.
I cannot believe he did it.
Should
We
Hell yeah.
would love to give Paulie Throws a
Yes.
call right now. Let's get him on the line.
I think we should also start because Paulie's kind of the most professional,
Yes.
and it's like feel bad. We always leave it at the end. The guy shit is like
He's prime
easily.
time
He's an
TV.
encyclopedia. He's like actually a computer.
Yeah.
It's crazy for himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, we'll have him.
Karen, do it. I don't want to put him on the spot.
Karen.
Oh, I will. Yeah, Paulie got on the line
You,
here.
Karen, you got the official polo,
Yeah,
so
Paulie,
it's
you
your.
can't say no
Yeah.
to the logo in the column.
No, absolutely not. Official Karen.
Paulie Throws
It's strong and tough. I like it.
coming in hot. All right, Paulie, I'm gonna do the worst thing that you probably don't want me to do. I would love for you to give us an incredible intro for the show and yourself, though.
For the show?
For the show.
Well, here is the thing, Paulie. Let me set you up a
boy.
bit. So I was saying, look, we got to stop bringing Paulie on at the end because he's easily the most prepared, most professional star of the show.
Look at that
So
flow.
we
Look
should
at that
just
hair.
bring him in a lot earlier. And then Max said, let's have him do an intro to the show. So
Oh,
then
boy.
here,
Well, so now we're
unfortunately,
testing
you
you out.
are
I guess we're
about to do an intro.
This isn't a test, Paulie. I think what we want is to maybe front load the show with this professionalism that you bring. We want to see if you can bring it to an intro as well. Take us in, Paulie.
Should I kick it off with a bonjour track and field fans?
Yes.
All right, well, bonjour track and field fans. We're here
He's been
for
watching.
the maybe final night of Torch Talk, I think. Are we decided on that yet? Are we doing it tomorrow after
TBD.
Marathon? Okay, maybe the final night of Torch Talk. We wrapped up action in Stade de France tonight. It was crazy. And on the field side, we had an epic men's high jump competition and a women's javelin final.
Beautiful.
Wow.
How's that?
Wow.
Viewers went up.
That's why he's the best. That's why he's the best. Paul, can you start with the
The high
Can you
jump.
start with the high jump? Because this has to be the best Olympic high jump final of all time, just about.
It was awesome. It was a pretty busy couple hours for us on the social media team, so my attention was kind of divided. But what I was able to keep up with and just looking at the series here, it was insane. We had 4 guys in the top 6 set new PBs. Mutaz Essabarshim won his 4th Olympic medal because that guy is just a robot that is designed to jump over really high bars all the time. And I think he picked up an injury in the qualifying round, and that just didn't phase him at all, and he still wins bronze. You also had Gianmarco Tamberi, who his last 2 weeks has just been the definition of the we're so back, it's over. We're so back, it's over meme. Because, he starts off with, I think he had an injury coming into Paris. And then he gets here. Was he the flag bearer for Italy?
Yep.
And then he loses his ring. It's over. And then he hurts him, or he has some sort of kidney problems before qualifying. It's over even more. He qualifies to the final. We're so back. This morning, he's in an ambulance, posting on Instagram, being guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to compete tonight. And then 2 hours later, he's I will be there. We're so back. And then he misses his first 2 attempts at 2:22. It's over. He clears it on the 3rd attempt. We're so back. And then he goes out on 3 attempts at 2:27, which, given the fact that he literally was like almost in the emergency room this morning, I think, with some sort of kidney issue. It is still incredible that he finished 11th in an Olympic final and actually didn't just know height. Just props to that guy. A shame we weren't able to see him at his best because he is the most entertaining person in the sport. But the battle for gold and silver here between Hamish Kerr and Shelby McEwen, they were 1-2 in Glasgow as well, indoors. And they were both jumping really well. They both had I think it was 231 for Kerr, and then at the height after that, I think they went to 234 for McEwen. Each of them had third attempt misses. So they both cleared 236, and they were tied on count back. And then, they go to a jump off, which was interesting because it's the same situation we had in Tokyo where Barshim and Tamberi shared the gold medal. They had both said, we aren't going to do that again. And reports from the mix zone are saying that Kerr was the one that said, we're doing a jump off. Like, I have not shared this medal with you. We're going.
That was my question.
He was
who said?
He rolled over, and I think Shelby was standing there. And Shelby did say that he didn't want to do it either, but Hamish rolled over. He said, we're jumping. And then Shelby rolled his fingers all right, the show goes on. And then that was it. That was apparently, Hamish said, that's the extent. He just said, we're jumping. And then that's it. Pretty party. I love that.
Oh my God.
He was I like that so much more.
And he said in the mix zone, sorry not to cut you off, Paulie, but he was like, I would be prouder of coming second and losing the jump off than sharing the medal and just doing what happened the years before. He's like, not that there's anything wrong with sharing the medal. You just don't want to do what's been already created as history. He's like, I wanted to just jump. And whatever happened, happened. And then, Paul, you can take it away from here because it was mayhem after this.
Who did you say said that? Was that Kerr or McEwen that said they would be disappointed if they shared it?
Yes.
Yeah. Which one said that? Or did they both
Kerr
say that?
said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they go to the jump off. They started at 2. I think this was the first time I had ever actually seen a jump off. So they start at 238, which was the height they both went out on. And I believe it was one attempt, and then they start going back in height. So I think it was they both missed at 238 again for their fourth time. Then they both missed at 236. And I think it was 234 is the height that Kerr eventually won it on. And he was jumping second. So when he cleared it, he knew that he won. And he just takes off into the infield. And he's just running around there for a couple minutes. And so it was pretty sick celebration on his part. Lucky the javelin competition was over. And yeah, it's a good win for New Zealand. They picked up silver in the women's shot yesterday with Madison Lee Weshie, picking up from Tom Walsh, hurting himself in the men's shot put final earlier on in the week. So good gold for New Zealand. And Shelby McEwen coming away with the same silver that he won in Glasgow as well.
Yeah, it was a massive comp. Huge, Paul. I was hooked in. I love Hamish, so it was great to see him to take the gold like that. But so a mixed bag of results in that women's javelin. Obviously, one of the favorites gets up, but I think there was some carnage behind.
Yeah, this women's jav competition was really weird because the winning mark was 65.80, which is a pretty respectable mark. But 63.68 made the podium, which I was pretty surprised about. And the really weird thing is none of the top 8 improved at all in the last 3 rounds. So the positions in rounds 4, 5, and 6 just did not change at all, which I really think that is the first time I've ever seen that happen. Even in the men's shot comp, where the last 3 rounds were basically just a complete wash, because of the rain, you still saw Peyton Arderdahl and Joe Kovacs both improve in round 6. But this one, the conditions were fine, and it just, I guess the women just didn't quite have it today. Haruka Kitaguchi comes out on top for the second year in a row. She won gold in Budapest last year. Now she's an Olympic champion. First Olympic gold for a Japanese javelin thrower. I think it's the first medal too, but I'm not 1,000% sure on that. And then Joanne Van Dyke and Nikola Dornikova. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've ever heard of her before. She picks up her first global medal on the senior level. She had won a European silver in like 2018 or something, but this was her best throw since 2022. Joanne Van Dyke, this is also her first time landing on the podium. So it was a very interesting competition. Mackenzie Little, I think, who had a really strong last two Diamond League showings before coming into the Olympics. She finished in 12th, I believe it was. So that was pretty surprising because she was definitely she took bronze in Budapest last year. She was definitely one of the stronger contenders. It was just surprising, kind of like what we saw in the women's shot competition last night. But in that one, the reasons why it was surprising were a little bit more clear, given the rain and whatnot. This one, it just kind of seems like for one reason or another, they didn't quite have it. And it is kind of a shame that this was the last throwing event in the program because all the ones before this had been so excellent. And so, like, no disrespect to any of the women that were in the field, but it just feels like compared to the rest of the throwing events this past week and a half, kind of went out on a bit of a whimper.
Totally. No, thank you for breaking that down for us. We got the high jump men's breakdown. We've got the women's javelin, a professional job, as always, Pauly throws.
Before I head out,
yes,
I want to give a shout out to the rest of the social media team, David Melly, Jasmine Fair, Audrey Allen. They killed it this week.
Incredible job.
They really
That's
did.
all I have to say.
And
Thank
Pauly,
you.
the whole crew.
Leave it to
Well done.
Pauly.
Thank you, Pauly.
Yeah. What a thoughtful guy.
Yes.
God.
Such a thoughtful guy. Thank you so much, Pauly. And he's right, guys. We've had an incredible team, both in Paris, also people back home on the ground, posting social media around the hours. I mean, we've had hours covered here. We're on Paris time. We've had people in the States, just working all hours of the day to be able to give you guys some incredible coverage here. This couldn't, this all wouldn't have been possible if, we didn't have ASICs who were powered by here. It's been an incredible support system for us here, helping us out. We have the morning show that you guys tuned into, which was incredible. Some interviews. Go check those out on the Citius Mag YouTube page as well. We got some incredible talent that we were able to interview, get a little more inside scoop as to their, athletic performances. And I think we're going to have to wrap it up here on our last night in Paris. Any final thoughts here as our last
we
day?
don't quite know. We might do a show tomorrow. We'll see.
We may, but I think we need to act as if, because what if?
Well, what if absolutely fantastic experience. My first time being at an Olympics. This was unbelievable time. Paris, amazing. Thank you to City's crew. So, I mean, damn, it's been a lot of fun.
Thanks to the Citius crew. I can't believe you guys gave me a microphone for my first time ever at a really low stakes competition. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Olympics, but
First time.
So thanks for the trust. It's been a real honor to talk about these incredible performances.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a thrill. It's been a life dream come true for me to be able to work the Olympics, not just do this stuff, but be in the mix zone along with Chris and Anderson and Jacob's dead on the couch there, but to have
actually asleep,
young 21-year-old Jacob come and shoot his first major in an Olympics is a real thrill for both of us, and to be able to put on for Australian athletics and international athletics has been a dream come true. So shout out to Chris and Mac.
Yeah.
Tireless work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You only see 5% of it. We get to be the vehicle to deliver it to you, but the wheels and the engine are moving at all times. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And in those emails, don't bother sending us report cards anymore. Just send your gratitude to the whole crew here, because it's been a monumental effort. So, well done to the whole crew. We've just about made it.
Absolute monumental effort again. I mean, an extra special shout out, Mac Fleet, Chris Chavez, the absolute engine behind all of the power that you guys see here.
Yeah.
They're just incredible. They're working on and off the clock to give you guys the most incredible coverage, locking down athletes, getting the most insightful storylines. And yeah, obviously Chris isn't here today, but he's here in solidarity.
I hope he makes it back.
I hope he
Like
makes
his phone's
Sounded
it
like
back.
phone- it
which is
sounded
really
not
concerning.
good.
I don't like it.
Yeah, we'll figure it
Because then
out.
his phone, there's
Mac
no
ha-
location at all.
Mac has his
Yeah.
location. It's gonna be
His-
fine. Oh,
his
also
phone's
shout
dead.
Yeah,
out,
but his phone's dead. It doesn't.
shout
phone's
out
dead in the middle of
Caitlin
Paris.
Anderson
Caitlin
and
Anderson
Justin.
is
vulnerable.
Yeah, the
Caitlin,
whole team.
Anderson, Justin, and I would say, to get sentimental here, Chris and Mac have an incredible thing that they do, and they bring great people together. That's an incredible talent to be able to do, and so I'm honored to share the microphone with each and every one of you up here. I was devastated when I thought there wasn't going to be a morning show today, and I wasn't going to be able to connect with you guys on air, but we were able to do it. We're here. We're so excited. I think we're gonna go celebrate with another glass of champagne, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
another.
Let's hit.
shoot.
Oh, I've
No.
had this bottle here
It's okay.
waiting for you actually the whole time. So
Eric was nursing it earlier.
yeah.
so-
Guys, let's hit it with a little J'adore la Athletic.
I think
I really almost had it.
Feels bad, right?
God. You're gonna try it again, and I'm gonna close it out. You're gonna say it. This has
That
been
felt
Citius
great.
Mag, powered by Asics. Here for you. We want to give you a little love and say,
J'adore le athlétisme.
There it is.
all right,
Well
au revoir.
done.